Hello.
Do you want a funny story? Oh, no, carry on.
Yeah, no, I do want a funny story before.
Funny story before you start the recording?
Yeah, go for it.
You probably don't want it on the recording. It has no relevance.
not on the recording. Okay.
So as I left Birmingham today, huge drama.
Okay.
Not because of me. And the whole of Birmingham station was shut because they found a hand grenade on the platform.
In Birmingham?
Yeah.
No, that can't
hand
be right.
grenades.
Another one.
And then they found out when they closed all the roads, shut the station, cancelled half the trains, that it was a weed grinder shaped like a hand grenade.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
When I heard, I was like, that's specifically like bad.
Well, anyway, thanks for that story that definitely isn't part of the YouTube show or podcast. And I want to say hello, everyone. Welcome to the Honest Wargamer. This is our Age of Sigmar Monday show, which was recorded on around 7 p.m. to who knows what time, whenever me and James get sleepy, which is about 8 to 12 minutes from now, basically. And it's normally me, Nathan, James, and Dan, but Dan's not here at the moment, so it's just us three. And today's show, we're going to be talking about, well, a variety of things, but Nathan and James obviously have been working, like I assume many of you have been, and so you might not have kept up with the Battlescroll update, or even what's on preview this weekend. I guess some people call this the news, so I guess we're going to talk about the news in some ways today, which is absolutely perfectly fine, because I'm really excited about talking, because I haven't had it, even though I was here at the weekend streaming, and I streamed an event, and I ran an event, I haven't necessarily had the time to, like, digest the Battlescroll stuff with anyone, nor the upcoming news, so I just thought I can't wait to talk to my friends about this today, which is really good. So yeah, this is what we're also joined by the Twitch chat by such legends as Joe Cryer, who went 4-1 this weekend, Dadbod Napgod, Honke, DeBrock Paints, Plymouth Troll Slayers, literally Adam Mumford the best, Shazbot, Twitch Terry TV, Captain Andrew, Colonel Cabbage, loads of great people. Ruler Crew Wargaming. In fact, Nathan James, not to make you pick a side, do you have a favourite Twitcher? Is there anyone in the chat who you like? They always make me laugh.
I don't know if I have a favourite. I have a least favourite. My least favourite's probably Plymouth Troll Slayers. I don't know who that is, but they're a terrible person.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Also, shout out to Bobbin, who went 2-1 this weekend. Love that guy. Nathan, have you got a favourite?
Because I read the chat so thoroughly, I'll go for Plymouth Troll Slayers as well, but he'll be my favourite. She'll be my favourite.
She'll be your favourite, all right.
Or
nice.
he, whatever. I
They.
don't want to insult.
Let's go with they.
Them. They will be my favourite.
All right, perfect. I'm picking Pete in the chat. Big love to Pete over from Northern Ireland. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the show. Hope everyone's well. Hope everyone has had a good weekend. And it's a pretty exciting Age of Sigmar week, actually, to talk about. There's 2 Battletomes going on pre-order this weekend. We've just had a Battlescroll. You couldn't be more frothy if you're an Age of Sigmar player. And so it's a pretty exciting time. But before we get into that, Nathan, how you been? What you been up to?
I've been all right. Hobby-wise, I've painted another 5 Spider Riders. I think I've got 11 left now. I've got to stick the ones I've painted so far on bases. But also the ones that I've got left to do, 11 or however many there are. They are nearly done. I reckon they are in the region of about 89.3% done. So there you go.
Wow. Okay. And I mean, that's actually fairly significant. We're going to talk about this later, if you don't mind, during the Battlescroll stuff. But you've got points updates for your Spider Riders. We thought that they were perfectly pointed for 3 years, but it turns out they were 10 points too expensive for 5. How do you feel about that?
What a discount! What a discount!
What a discount! Yeah, Nathan, how do you feel about it? That's the question.
I feel like for every 10, how many points are there now? 100 points.
So there were 100 points for 5, and now they're 90.
Oh, so every 9 sets you could get a free set. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, 10 sets
something
now.
like
Is that right? Somewhere around there. Someone in the chat, correct me. Go on, chat.
Yeah. So now I can probably put all 50 in instead of having 45. So that's great.
Excellent.
That does mean, though, we've got to wait longer until you've painted all the Spider Riders.
Yeah. Yeah, another 5. No, but I've got the 5 there. I think they were spare. I'll have to have a look and see. I might have some odd sods kicking about. I can convert something up.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Yeah. Toothpicks in a blob of sticky stuff, and you're done.
Can I actually just talk about the event from this weekend a second? Because actually, that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about the event this weekend. I think I'm going to change the pack for the TSN Arena events to go from like, hey, can you check your conversions with the TO, like especially your 3D prints, to 3D printing is actively encouraged because there was some really fun stuff at the event. Our Seraphon player dressed in a dinosaur suit, absolute treasure of a human. He messaged me the night before. He's like, "Can I use this as a Horrorghast?" And it was just a tiny 3D printed Stegosaurus, and I was like, "Absolutely, that's the only thing I want you to do. Get it on there right now." And then Trog, not Trog. Trog is someone else.
Dom.
Trog
Hammer.
Yeah, Trog Hammer. Sorry, and I think Trog is even in the chat. Hello, Trog. Yeah, Dom, lovely Dom. He had got Mork's Mighty Mushroom, Nathan.
I saw his Mork's Mighty Mushroom. It was a particularly grumpy one. It was great.
Yeah, he had a very sad and angry face.
Yeah, that's great.
So when he cast it, like people were genuinely. There's Aiden in the chat who played against it. Like they were genuinely mad at that tiny mushroom, and I just liked how some of the 3D prints or some of the conversions kind of like brought the game to life in some ways. I thought it was quite cool. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. So maybe do some Spider Riders conversions, Nathan, because if you've got 45 Games Workshop ones, I reckon Games Workshop don't need any more money from you.
I got 50 of them. So, but yeah, I could probably knock something up on the chainsaw thing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. What do you think? Well, we'll talk about this in a minute because maybe you want to 3D print or convert some Arachnarok war parties, but more on that later, maybe.
Yeah. I've got a spare Arachnarok, which I've got the trestle, the stuff on his back. So I was going to make him a war party guy with the option to him being a flinger. But yeah, I definitely have to get that one painted up now.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Okay, we'll talk about that. James, how have you been? What have you been up to, baby?
Yeah, pretty good. I don't even know. Honestly, don't even know where my last week went. I feel like it was Monday yesterday. But I did spend some of last week making little trees for my Lord of the Rings models to sit on.
Oh, so you're still on the Lord of the Rings hype. I think that's fair. I think a lot of the Age of Sigmar community, because we're obviously the fantasy community, Nathan.
Yep.
I'm talking about fantasy universes, not...
Yeah, I'm in with that. Yeah,
not
definitely.
Let Me Be Your Fantasy by Ricky Martin. I don't think it was by him, actually, but that doesn't matter. Ricky Martin and his housemate. And then, the fantasy... stuff. I think we're all pretty Lord of the Rings. Chat, time for you to tell me. If you listen to this as a podcast, by the way, please stay hydrated. If this is on YouTube, then obviously like and subscribe. Time for you to tell me wherever you're listening. James, you're obviously very Lord of the Rings orientated. Nathan, anything would make you become a Lord of the Rings bro?
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't mind doing it. I quite liked the Goblin King when they had him. I don't know. Is he still a dude? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's still a dude. I think so. I think there's still all the dudes, but the Rings of Power, I can only put it down to Rings of Power hype, means that Games Workshop seem to not be making enough models, because I saw lots of people moaning about everything being sold out. But I did also notice, which was one of the reasons I ended up buying the army that I ended up buying when I bought it, was the other thing I noticed was because Games Workshop have slowly been dribbling up their prices by, 10%, 15% every year now? Or day.
I did look at the prices of stuff the other day. Like a Mutant Vortex piece is now £54, and I was like...
Yeah, it's insane.
I was like, what the fuck?
So I wanted to play the Eagle Army. And so I was looking at that. So I think from Games Workshop now it's 30 quid for 2, I think. But because Lord of the Rings is one of those smaller game systems, I guess, that doesn't probably sell like, say, 40k would, when I decided to do it, I had a little look around, and lots of shops still had like 2 boxes left.
Yes. And
at 25% on the old RRP, it was coming out at like, I think I got picked up a box of 2 for £19 a box.
Nice.
Which is £11 off Games Workshop's RRP now. Which is insane. So, like, I think maybe that's the other thing. Maybe lots of people were like, let's order fast from third parties. They ship loads out. before everyone had wiggled with their prices. But
And they got 2 barrel boxes coming up or something.
yeah, they're also doing that, I think, sticking everything in big boy boxes. But it is a much cheaper game, I think. And every time I look at like an Age of Sigmar model now, like when they come out, I'm like, that's an expensive boy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We'll talk about that in a little moment, I think, because I think that's super fair. You got some comments in the chat, by the way, James. Owen saying Eagle Army A. James confirmed Power Gamer. They are apparently meant to be good, the giant eagles.
Apparently.
Well, because they can knock people down.
Yeah, well, that's fun though, right? So basically, I have 3 armies with the eagles. But I do really like Lord of the Rings. I still stand by. I think it's the best rules system that Games Workshop have.
Can't other people knock people over?
Yes, so big things knock things over, but like normally you have like a couple of big things, whereas it's just like a bunch of big eagles. But so I have a
What if you lie down when they come?
well, then you're on the floor. That actually happens. You don't want to be on the floor.
You don't want to be on the floor.
Then everyone kicks you more, and you die faster.
Well, they can't knock you over.
Yeah, but they just kick you then. Kick him while he's down.
But it's an eagle. An eagle can't kick very hard.
Oh, you wait and see. Strength 8.
What?
Think about that. Yeah,
it's a big
more
eagle.
like a bin chicken, Nath.
So
Probably
it's
bigger.
like a secretary bird because it'll stomp on you then.
Yeah, basically.
Oh no. Nathan's
not-
used all of his
but it's
bird-based
not.
knowledge. Nathan knows a lot about birds. I know a lot
Nice.
about bird lore. Like between us, we can almost start a bird sanctuary. Sorry, James, continue.
So I have a Rohan army, which is cool. Like I wanted that. They're like one of my favorite factions in the film. And then I have an Isengard army because I thought if I was going to have 2 armies and shut them in the box, I want the 2 that are going to fight each other if Toy Story is real.
Did you know, by the way, that most of the ladies in most of the riders in the Rohan army were ladies with fake beards?
Nice.
Yeah, and they were all their own horses. Yeah.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
So I have that. But then the issue was that I played a game for the first. I got tickets to, I think I said before, the Games Workshop Warhammer World Throne of Skulls for it. Played a game for the first time in like 8 months, and remembered like every hero you have to track a load of skills for them. And Rohan, I have like 8 heroes for the list that I play, and I was like, I am going to be slow playing some poor bugger who's like just there to have a nice time in my head at a Throne of Skulls. So it's like, I'll just buy a small army. So that was the small army I wanted. And then everyone was like, oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But I've only played 1 game and I got trashed.
You accidentally power creeped.
Maybe.
Yeah, not that term is real.
I mean, I still
an
also
accident.
have no idea what I'm doing. So the power creep is not good.
Yeah, it's not your fault. Yeah, of course.
I still can't use the army.
Have you no Age of Sigmar yet, James? Still can't get you there at the moment.
No, still retired.
Still it's a disaster for the Age of Sigmar show. As a retiree. Okay, that's good.
Well, it's like we said last time. It feels a bit weird coming back in if there's only a
2
couple of
months
months left. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's actually the first opportunity for us to. Nice segue, Nath. Nice
Oh
segue.
man,
Yeah,
one of those,
that gives
so
us an opportunity to talk about the rumours that have sprung up online as of only today about the new GHB. So I'll go through them in order because there's not many. But it does sound like, and this is in the rumours, they were on Twitter. So
how have you ordered them?
How have I ordered the rumours?
I've never ordered a rumour. How does one order a rumour? Like how they come to you or alphabetically? Or...
I think they're on Amazon, I think.
Yeah, it's like rumour service. That was not good as a joke. I'll move on. But yeah, there was only a couple of rumours. Specifically, first off is that Galician veterans and then bounty hunters is all going away. Okay, so it does sound like we thought a lot of it was going to be. Oh, this is on Twitter. I saw these rumours, by the way, and they're also in my Discord at some point, but I don't know where they were posted. So the rumour is that Galician veterans and bounty hunters is all going away, and then in the next, which means the next GHB would be significantly different already. but it also there's something to do with characters. So like if you have characters with like 8 or less wounds or 9 or less wounds or I don't know or something, and they're near a unit or again it's a rumor so we don't really know, then they're untargetable like they are in 40k.
Nice. Even with magic?
Well, again, don't know
Who
the
knows?
specifics. Yeah, so I think untargetable like in 40k, and then. Of course, there's going to be some sort of battalion. Hello to Baz Jr., big love to you. There's going to be some sort of battalion which allows you to obviously override that rule, if that makes sense.
People that like shooting people with big hats.
Exactly.
Is what that
yes.
battalion's called.
Yeah, exactly. If you see a fellow with a big hat, maybe a very impressive mustache, you think he's got some medals on his chest, then you can snipe that boy out. So I don't know. Yeah, so it's going to be the 6 months of the foot hero, or as I like to call it, Nathan, the power of Zarbag and his Gits. You've got so many Gloomspite Gits heroes that are going to be untargetable, which will be pretty good, right?
Yeah.
All the Gobbapalooza heroes?
No, they're not heroes, so you can target them.
That's
Poor buggers.
Yeah.
But you could have 8 of the Gobbapalooza by a hero and then they'd be untargetable.
That's
Maybe.
true.
They don't often get targeted, to be fair.
Now,
Like until they're right in front of the dudes, and then they get smacked around a bit. But
are you saying that they're not really high on the priority threat list of a Gits army?
I think they just start at the front and work their way through to the back.
Of the Gits army.
That's what it feels like.
But it means like Eddie says, like so your Madcap maybe can't get shot, or maybe
that'd be good because
maybe your Zinch wizards at the back of the board can't get hurt, or your buff characters, or James, imagine this: Bastion Carthlos, but no one can shoot him until like there are other units out the way, so you can just
Good old
walk.
Bastion.
Right, you can just walk forward and beat people up. Come on, that's got to get your frothy back for Age of Sigmar, James.
Do you like Bastion Cathalos?
I thought you need it, right?
Do you like him?
Now there was a salacious rumor online that the reason this may be happening is because they really, really, really want to sell loads of those FOMO box single model heroes that they've brought out, like your High Gladiatrix, and I've obviously forgotten the rest of them already. But you know, all of those ones. But I don't really think that would be true. That doesn't feel right, if that makes sense. So interesting rumor. What does it immediately make you think, Nathan? Chat, what does it immediately make you think? What do you think?
Well, I guess like foot infantry will become better then without the Galician veteran bounty hunters stuff nerfing them. I guess we have to see some more rules. There'll probably be points for killing them, and they have to score points by being places and doing special things. So, we'll see what those things are, and we'll have to see if that battalion is like the bounty hunters battalion and just nerfs those lads or not.
Yeah, like if there are 2 different battalions and like one is kind of the counter to the other. Yeah, if there is a battalion that like makes you shoot, but I was thinking about this. If there's a battalion that makes you be able to shoot those characters, then you're just in the same place you currently are in Age of Sigmar. So like,
exactly.
Who cares? So I think actually the biggest change to Age of Sigmar at the minute would be if those 2, obviously based on the rumors that we know right now, is if Bounty Hunters goes away and also Unmatched Conquerors, because that means like your Pink Horrors are going to be not do double damage against you. Your Nighthaunt Army is going to not have double damage into it. Not that it does already because of the Krulgas Cruciator. But like, you know, your Gits Army, Nathan, won't get like Bounty Hunter units having double damage into you, which is quite good, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, because I mean, a similar thing happened, I guess, with the one from the monster thing. Like monsters lost certain abilities, but they're still quite good because they've still got some of the core rule stuff, like being able to roar and do monstrous reactions. So,
yeah, very interesting. James, does that get you frothy for the new GHB? What are you thinking? And chat same time.
I think it would be nice for me to have a season where it's like, let's have some fantasy looking armies, as in like all the lads on foot and cav, like I guess so. If people play Total War Warhammer,
yeah,
like you normally have like a hero who might be mounted, but you basically just have like a bunch of people walking around, right?
Yeah, you do.
And so I think it'd be nice to see that. So yeah, maybe. And I like I think I said last week, like I took 2 months off because of general life, a third because I was away for most of it, and then it's like, well, I'm not learning a bunch of new rules for 2 months. So it'll be nice to see. It'll be nice to see if the 6 month is a huge turnaround, because I think it also allows people to then look at the game as a whole in its new format and be like, cool. So if I want to dip out, like people who have babies dip out loads too, right?
Yeah,
normally. In the past, loads of players who were like on various teams for Worlds are like, oh, I've done loads this year, but actually I'm having a baby, so big in, all my money, and I'm out for 6 months. I might play occasionally. I think being like, oh, here's the 6 month window, and then there's a new book, like just understanding all of that is useful, I think.
I think it's really helpful, especially like because it's so tied in. It's so tied in with their release schedule as well, because they always do a new game system in the summer. So we already know it's basically Christmas to summer, summer to Christmas. So you can kind of jump in and out when and where you feel like you fancy, right? Which I think is quite cool. So yeah, like I think, fucking hell, like the yeah. So he's not joking. So. That's exciting for some people, I think, and maybe a little bit worrying for others. See what the chat is saying. RX says removing the one drop would be cool. Jog PLC says deep striking units would be stonks. It already gets the brain ticking over, right? It gets your brain being like, oh, actually, I'm really excited about, I don't know, like putting this in this unit. It feels like your shooting unit's going to go in the battalion, but your shooting units like being in the one drop because they get that first turn choice to go first. You know, like there's so many things that you know, oh, is this going to be better because of this? I don't know. Until we know all the rules, obviously, but then that's the rumour. And it might not be true. Maybe it'll be the year of cavalry, or the 6 months of cavalry. Maybe it'll be the 6 months of exclusively large trog-like monsters.
Or shooters.
Or shooters, yeah, or goblin shooters. Maybe it's just that, but we don't know, right? So it'll be fun. Stavros in the chat says, I'm dipping out for a bit. Fancy some walk around. I'm doing up my flat. I still prefer the yearly cycle, albeit we haven't seen the second GHB, so you never know. Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. I think it'll be really fun. And imagine if all of their game systems did the 6 month cycle on that time frame. You could just be like, January to the middle of the year, I'm an Age of Sigmar player. And then later on in the year, you know, I'm 40k, yeah, or Lord of the Rings, or whatever. That's kind of interesting that you could do that and mix and match, I think. So yeah, like I quite like that. Okay.
So 40k is yearly.
40k is 6 months now, but it's not the same 6 months as our stuff because it's a nonsense game right now. But soon, less nonsense, which is great. I think that'll be good. Yeah, so AOS joining the 40k release timeline, that's correct. Yeah, so need to make pig stronger, says someone in the chat, and that's fair. Okay, unless all of this is a crock of shit. I mean, it could be, we just don't know. So we'll find out later. The most recent General's Handbook released the same weekend as 40k Warzone, yes, and I think it will continue to do so. So we'll see. Okay, so what have I been up to? I have painted some ogres last week. I've printed some ogres. I've done myself 18 Iron Guts and 18 Lead Belchers in what is clearly the worst choice a human has ever made. Definitely neither of those two will be good, but the rumours are that they're not, so that's cool for me. So yeah, looking forward to that. And last week on the Wednesday painting show, I painted up a Butcher and a Conquistador, but he's going to be my... not a Conquistador, he's going to be my Tyrant model, basically. So I'm kind of in on the ogres, but when we talk about it in a minute, a little bit sad about the Slaves to Darkness stuff, because I really want to run Mutalith Vortex Beats into my Tzeentch list, but I don't know what it's going to look like because it's only on pre-order this weekend. So I'm holding off on my Mutalith Vortex Beasts until this weekend when we find out about it, because it's either going to be stonks to the moon. If it stays the same, which most of the Battletomes in this edition have stayed basically the same, then yay. If it gets better, even more yay. But there's a small chance it gets a little bit worse, but we'll see. I'm not really sure.
Hasn't the entire Slaves to Darkness book leaked?
No, great question, James. Thanks for asking. No, no, it hasn't leaked. Oh, yes, huge portions of it have leaked. We've seen like command traits, we've seen sub-faction stuff, but there's loads of bits missing, like the Mutant Vortex Beast, for example. We haven't seen all of the. I don't think we've seen most of the cultist stuff. We've seen loads of stuff like Gorby's Chariots doing mortal wound impact hits, Varangard being able to be rallied on a 4-up, Warriors of Chaos with the Mark of Nurgle being mega defensive and like holding the ground, Chaos Knights doing some interesting charges, but they only hit on 4s. There's some really, really kind of like interesting stuff in that book, but we haven't seen all of it right now. And in fact, Jog in the chat, what a babe, has already put a link to it if you would like to grab it and look at it.
So nice.
So yeah, there's the link to the digital book. So it's got the spell laws. So lots of it has already been leaked, but not all of it has been leaked. So that's going to be that's a bit of a shame. So that's what I've been up to. Looking forward to that Ogre book a lot, and kind of tempted by it if it ends up being what I want it to be, which is mainly I want the Gutbusters to be good. If it's not Gutbusters, I also am a big fan of the Ironblaster or the Scrap Launcher. So if I'm not able to run any of those, I'm probably going to be like, it's not for me. Not for me, Captain, basically. Nathan, at one point you were an Ogre boy. Or you were excited by Ogres. Any thoughts on new Ogres?
Yeah, at one point I just painted up a hunter to join my lads so he could sneak around at the back. But yeah, I've not really pursued that. In fact, I think I gave my hunter away.
Oh, did you?
So yeah, I don't think I possess any. I had some Yetis as well for some reason. So yeah.
Okay.
I don't got any of those now.
So you're not Ogre curious?
Nah, probably not. I think I've got enough on my plate with Spider Riders.
That's fair. James, what about you? Ogre curious?
Nah.
No.
Not for me. I think, do you know what? I think I'd have probably been an Ogre fan if they'd have kept with the crazies. The like pirate, the rolling pin. The
man-eaters.
Yeah.
They're still there, aren't they?
They're still there. They're back. They've announced today that they're back.
Same models?
Same models.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the first game I ever saw you played Ogres, to be fair.
I love Ogres.
8th edition.
Yeah, that was one of my first armies, Ogres. And I just kept getting Purple Sun all the time, which made me feel like, rolling 6 dice to get Purple Sun. Big skills there. Big 6 dice skills you've done there, kids. Yeah, that's how it started. Yeah, so I am a low-key fan. The problem is, when any army comes out, I'm actually a low-key fan of most armies. So it's really hard to be someone who's really excited about the whole project, generally. So
except Khorne.
I mean, I have a Khorne army.
Yeah. Khorne was your first Age of Sigmar one? Well, that and Seraphon.
Yeah, Seraphon and Sigmar. Yes. Wasn't it like Khorne and then it was immediately Seraphon and then it was immediately after that Trees within like 3 months or something?
Yeah. That was pretty rapid succession of dudes.
Yeah, and that was before slap dropping. That was just me painting like a regular schlub.
Do you remember when you painted that Lord of Change green?
James,
green? It was pink.
No, there was a green one, wasn't there? Because it blurred into the green.
And he's become a massive
Do you still have
prick.
that Lord of Change?
I do still have that Lord of James. The Lord of James' name is Kairos, James. Yeah, and you respect him. Yeah, you keep your name out of your goddamn mouth, James.
Do you have another Kairos?
Well, I don't have another Kairos, you goddamn...
Do you know what you should do?
Fuck you.
No, wait. Do you know what you should do?
Go on, what?
You should buy one.
No.
Wait. Paint it.
No.
With slap chop, and then compare the two.
No, I'm out.
Just slap chop the one
Someone
you got.
send Rob a Kairos.
I don't want a Kairos. No one send me
Why?
a Kairos. I want no part
Yeah,
of your
you do.
shenanigans.
It would be so good to see your the difference in painting.
No, it wouldn't. It'd be embarrassing, and we want to forget that the other thing exists, apart from when I use it all the time, right? And just move on. Okay. Anyway, so yes, just to quickly quote Matt Berry about James.
And he's become a massive prick.
Okay, perfect. So here you can see the whole Slaves to Darkness book. So yeah, but the Slaves to Darkness book has been mainly leaked, but not fully leaked. And actually, that segues us really nicely, good work there, Nathan or James, into the fact that the new Slaves to Darkness stuff is on pre-order this weekend. And not only is it on pre-order, it's the special box. It's one of those launch boxes. Nathan, you got any interest in this? The big launch box?
They're pretty cool models. Is it the book as well as the box, or just the box?
It's okay. So interestingly, it's the box, and the box, it turns out, is full of stuff. In which there's also
Motherfucker!
I know, right?
Why you put all of this stuff in my box? Not like the one that Speckles one, then.
No, not like that one. No, it's fully full. There's going to be the Battletome, the limited edition Battletome, which leads us into the FAQ a little bit. James, that book, the limited edition book that you get in the box, isn't match play legal.
Wow. They've already FAQ'd the book.
No, they haven't. Well, yes and no. Okay, so this is the situation. They've now said that until a Battletome is on general release, so until everyone can buy the Slaves to Darkness book,
Right.
it is not match play legal.
Okay, so I could buy this box,
Correct.
have the book,
Correct.
but
The
I
fancy
can't
book.
use the book
Correct.
Yeah.
until the normal book
Yeah.
is on
Yeah.
sale.
Correct.
Games
Which,
Workshop. Or
Only at
Socialist.
Games Workshop events, though. It depends. Your
Well,
local tournament
also-
organizer might not be so mental. Pardon me?
okay, but it also depends on the local tournament organizer, right?
Yes.
What did the populace say? Were they very up in arms about that, or
I
was
don't
it-
think they know, which is kind of
Oh.
like it was buried inside of an FAQ. So I guess everyone in the chat, it's your opportunity
I
to.
wanted to hear them being accused of being communists or something because they stopped at that.
Games Workshop.
Oh, someone, real Poly Geek in the chat
Yeah.
has said they did say that the army book has misprints.
Yes, there are. They did
Oh.
also say in this article that there are some misprints, but
Nice. It'd be good to have a book checked before you send it to print, wouldn't it?
I don't know, man. I like.
Why print the book?
This is one of those situations where I can't even throw a rock because I tweet like someone who's never learned to read. So like, all right. So I just. Like,
Are you a £1 billion company?
No, but it did. I found out
Oh.
today I've got sleep apnea. I found out today. I've been to the hospital just. That's where I've just been
Nice.
before the show. Apparently, I wake up 30 times an hour.
It's quite a lot of times.
That sounds like a lot of times, doesn't it?
What
Once
about on the
every other
show?
minute.
What about what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm always awake for the show.
All right.
Is
I
that your
just
joke?
wondered. Yeah.
Fucking get out. That's what I think. Anyway, Slave to Darkness box. Okay, so what's in it? The box, the Battletome, which you can't use unless your local gaming store says you can, etc. Yeah. We have the Slaves to Darkness. So interestingly, the War Scroll cards, which normally you can buy separately, are inside the box, and it's the only place you can get the War Scroll cards.
But they're normally out of date by the
I
time they
think
get
they
released.
stay relevant long enough.
Okay.
Can you just write on them? They should just print blank ones and you just fill them in as you go along.
Just
With
whiteboard.
rules.
Whiteboard
Yeah.
pen. Picture on the back, whiteboard pen on the front.
Yeah.
There's a strong argument that you just print them out.
I mean,
What about that internet thing?
also is, eh?
Which one? Twitter?
No, not that one
just
anymore.
the
Can't use
computer
that one.
where you can just read things.
The Wahapedia.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can just read them on Wahapedia too, for free. But you can't have like loads out. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you had like your War Scroll card, you could then put like your dice on for your wound trekking on it, or maybe put your buffs on your card. Very MCP there, James, right?
Yeah,
So
true.
you could do that. So that's quite fun. Yeah, Nathan is too radical. Yes, Nathan's immediately gone to the Russian hack website of wahapedia.ru, but that's fine.
There's other websites available.
There are. Remember when you hated websites? I don't know what new
I do.
websites you found which you like.
Yeah, they're very select.
Mm, mm.
And they give me all the rules that I need.
But you can print out the Wahapedia battle scrolls. Just FYI.
Nice.
FYI. They have a
Oh.
they have a print function basically, so you can print them out.
What's the point? You could just use the internet thing.
You
Like
can look at
why?
it on your phone.
Yeah.
Digital life.
Yeah, I mean, you could screen cap them. I don't know if anyone knows about screen capping. Maybe we should talk to Nathan. Any other stuff you like? Technology,
Yeah,
screen
if
caps.
If it's a PDF thing, then
Yeah.
you can fucking load it into your book reading app and read it like a book.
There's also that. James, any other ways we could defeat this problem that we've got?
Just snip and sketch print. snip and sketch, make your own little PDF of just what you want, go to the event with it on your phone.
With all the
Loads of things.
snips and sketches. Cool.
Yeah.
With all the snips and sketches. That's correct. You could do a TikTok with them in, where you
Yeah.
read them out to yourself, and then you go back and you watch your own TikToks. Where you're like, hold on, let me just find out what Lord of Change does, and then you just click your own TikTok, where it tells you of it again. You're like, oh, that's handy. And then maybe we could do that for everyone.
Yeah, I bet you could get some people on the internet to read them to you. Like if you didn't like your own voice, so like I don't know, Snapchat or OnlyFans or Grindr or whatever, just get people to read stuff to you.
You could definitely do like a cameo.
People are looking for employment there all the time, so
that's true. That's
Give
true.
them a
Is there
job.
anyone in the chat that would do that for work? Just read the war scrolls out to us. Let's see if anyone. Grindr is Grindr is definitely the place to get voiceover work done. That's good. Just call me up, says some Norwegian dude. Okay, Man Reads Book, sexy edition. That's what we're looking for. Yes. Okay, perfect. Read war scrolls in your underwear. Okay, well, please do. Anyway, so the war scroll cards, but then they've also shown something. I think this is brand new. The chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's also now enhancement cards.
I don't think didn't the Lumineth box had cards?
Not enhancement cards, bro.
Just spells.
Just spells. Yeah.
spell
so
law. What's
it'll be like the
enhancement?
spell law,
Spells.
and it'll be like artifacts and some other bits, I assume.
Cool.
Probably not. They probably still haven't really got smart enough to include battle tactics and grand strategies in there, which is obviously you would want. So you could be like, I'm doing this battle tactic. There you go. I promise it's real.
That's what they did at the Loon one, the Looney bin, the Danky Lips tournament. They gave you all the battle tactics on cards, and you could just like throw it down. So I'm doing this.
Was that cooler to do than just saying it?
Yeah. Doing this, and then they'd have to try and find it.
What, they
see
would have
what
to
you
find
would
the
do,
card?
because you would never tell them. Yeah.
Oh, you would. So
Try
you would just throw the card
throw
down
it.
saying,
I'm
doing
doing this, and
Yeah.
try and throw it somewhere where they couldn't get to it, and then do that thing. That's the way to do it.
Okay, that's really positive. Enhancements like artifacts. Yes, enhancements are your spell lore, your artifacts, and all of those other gubbins, basically, which is really simple.
That's what they were called, some of them.
What?
Gubbins.
And they've also got banners. They've got some cool banners that they can take and some other bits. So those are the enhancements. And then finally, we've got the models, James. So
Nice.
you've got some Therodons. So that would be your three kind of large, beefy, not Beasts of Chaos, but kind of Minotaurs.
Yep.
You have a unit of 10 Chaos Chosen, and you have a Demon Prince. And that's probably the contents of upcoming or later Varangard the Varangard box, which is their new start collecting boxes. Can we just say for a moment that
Vanguard box.
Yeah, they're called Vanguard boxes. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yes, they've been called that for a while, haven't they?
They have since Age of Sigmar 3. James, did you know they were called Vanguard boxes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Why did they stop calling them start collecting boxes? It's the easiest name, surely. Just be like, start collecting. You're like, that's what.
Because they put the price up substantially, though,
Yeah.
right?
They did.
And it's
put the
much
price
more cool to make you say it.
What to say? What Vanguard?
Yeah, or all the other words that you say when you.
I think also maybe the concept was to move it, because like start collecting boxes we all just used to build armies, but I think in theory on paper you're like start collecting here, and then maybe they wanted to move away from that and just be like you just buy this box because it's good.
Yeah, I guess so. These are normally limited run though. I'm pretty certain.
Okay.
These boxes.
All the runs they do are limited.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Do they make anything long?
You're talking about a long enough timeline, Nathan.
Mm.
Okay, I mean technically correct. Sorry, I mean
we are the honest wargamer.
That's true,
and we have to be accurate in everything we say.
That's true. Okay, so along they are temporary along the limited lifespan of us as human beings. Yeah, there you go. Nathan, is that one of your battle tactics cards?
No, that was a rock wall stabber card.
And what does that do?
Play rock, paper, scissors with your opponent, and the winner receives 1 command point.
That's actually a cool card.
Yeah, all games should come with that.
Okay. So yeah, Vanguard boxes. No, what I mean is post this launch box, I assume that the Vanguard box is going to be this selection of models. Is my point. So like the Vanguard box. Anyway, so what do you both think of the models? What do you think of the models? The Therodons, I think, are very cool looking. One of the interesting things as well we've seen before, we've seen all of the rules. So this is one of those situations where something's going on pre-order, and we've seen the rules, and the Therodons are like okay, and the Chosen are pretty good, and then the Demon Prince is pretty good if he's like a Nurgle dude, I reckon, or something. So like, there's some interesting stuff. But does any of this tickle either of yours pickle? James, do you like the idea of them? Do you like the models? What do you think?
I think I get eaten alive here. I really don't like those Minotaur lads.
You don't like the Minotaurs?
No.
What, the Bulgors? What are they called again?
They're
Therodons.
called Therodons.
But they're
Therodons.
basically the Bulgor poses.
They are basically the Bulgor poses, yeah.
And there's 3 of them. Now, there obviously might be more in the kit, but like, if it's the same as the Bulgor, which is a model that must be like 10 years old now, kind of look the same.
Okay.
So, okay. Like, I also think like the Ogreoid Thermatorge and the Warcry one. Ogreoid Myrmidon.
Yeah, the Ogreoid Myrmidon, nice.
That's the lad.
Never
Was
been
such
spoken about for years.
cool models.
Terrible in the game.
That I think, yeah, terrible in the game, but cool models. That then I look at those and I'm like, right, well, they don't match the Thermatorge because he's like a wizard in a robe. They don't match the like Greek-themed Myrmidon. And if they're like super static, which they don't do that much anymore.
No, yeah, I agree, because I think they're also, if you compare them to the Chaos Chosen, which are wildly dynamic and look fantastic, I really like the Therodons, if I'm honest. I think they look cool.
I'm sure people will love them. For me, no buttons. And to get killed again, I hate that Demon Prince.
Oh, yeah. I think we all do. Nathan, what are your thoughts on the models?
I didn't zoom in on the Demon Prince. I looked at the Chosen because I liked the Chaos Warriors and Knights that they did, the new ones of them.
Really good.
And I think those Chosen go very nicely with that. So yeah, I think that side of the army. I didn't really look at the other stuff, to be fair. So it didn't really grab me. So I'd say it's probably par. Well, I mean, it's not something I'm likely to do anyway, but yeah, probably not as good if it doesn't grab you.
Okay, that's fair. The chat, Sophia Kittens, who I know is excited about this, says the Demon Prince is ugly, hoping other heads can help. Stavros reckons that the Chosen don't quite have the presence of the Warriors, because I agree with you. The new Chaos Knights, which James talking about dynamic kind of poses, the new Chaos Knights are fantastic, right?
Yeah, I don't think. Sorry, just because I've been a negative Nancy. Like, I don't think the Chosen are bad. Like, I quite like them. The Warriors look great. The Knights look great. So I think my wider issue is I'm like, I wouldn't want that box because I don't want over 50% of it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the big ogre lads. Maybe. I mean, it'll take me like maybe someone painting it, but like, I feel like the 3 ogre lads don't really fit the rank and flank lads, and the Demon Prince looks like he should be in 40k.
Well, so I know Big Phil, one of our like big Slaves to Darkness fans in the chat, is really excited. He says he's buying 2 boxes just so he can get as many of the Chosen as possible. I think the Chosen are kind of the standout models from the range for me. I think the Demon Prince is fugly, and I don't hate the Minotaurs, but if you're right, if that's a static pose and if there's 3 in that pose, then I'm not really for that personally. Not really of interest to me. But yeah, like I personally think it's like the models are okay. As someone pointed out, it's only 15 models as well, which feels like, so it's £120 English, 150 euros. Don't know what that is in dollary dues. I'm sorry. So yeah, like it's 120 quid for 15 models. Feels like okay. Like, you know, like normally now, like a box is like 35 quid normally, right? So it'd be your Chosen would be 35 quid. Your your Minotaurs would be 35 quid, and your Demon Prince would be 35 quid. So you're already at like £105. So then,
yeah. It's
know,
not too bad. I think it's that weird jank for me where I'm like, if you've already told me my limited edition book is misprinted, that like I want that for free.
Well,
and
yeah, the box is cool though.
Yeah, like it's not bad. I guess it's like that weird thing, isn't it? Where maybe like if you want it all, amazing deal, probably. If you want half of it, fine. Like some people love War Scroll cards, right? Like we just had that whole debate where Nathan was like, phone. Like I don't want them. Phone. But then we all know what will happen is someone will buy this and it'll all end like the chunks they don't want will end up on eBay at more than they paid for them, and they'll do okay out of it.
Yeah, the books actually have got kind of like maybe not higher resale value, but there's also the ability to just like get the book from someone and then also get the code for your app as well. So they're kind of like, I don't know if they're more valuable now because that's obviously stupid because you could have just bought it, but maybe they're a little bit more resellable. Or think the actual books. I mean, number one, but and then the Slaves to Darkness are coming out. That's kind of the big news, right? Kind of we'll skip past the box for a moment. The big exciting news is Slaves to Darkness, the book. Will go on pre-order this weekend, which means all the people who read books out will indeed read those books out this weekend, which is kind of thrilling, to be honest, because that's an exciting set. Like, it's a big, exciting weekend. You're going to be able to, like, I'm going to build myself a Nurgle army. James, like, we know that Khorne get extra attacks if you just give them the mark of Khorne. I know you're not going to do that, right? But you could do some really fun stuff with the Slaves to Darkness book, I promise. Chaos Knights seem okay. Varangard seem good. Warriors seem good. Chosen seem good. So there's like loads of fun stuff in there. And Slaves to Darkness is a pretty iconic range to have not really had much presence in the meta. Archaon has had presence. You know, Varangard have definitely had presence. Those have been like very common, popular lists, but they haven't had like, you know, just your basic Chaos Warrior. It feels like it should be in the game a lot.
I still think the craziest thing for me still was they released 5 years ago, that nice box with the Karkadrak in. Karkadrak?
Yeah.
Karkadrak, right?
Karkadrak. Like, fantastic.
That was a great model. Yeah. And the Knights and the Warriors in that were all wicked. And all of them were garbage. I know people use the Karkadrak, but really, all of them were still garbage.
Yes. Like,
the Slaves book didn't work at the point they released them. And then, like, you've never seen them. And they were such good models. Like, I almost feel like, in my head, I'd like this to be the book where someone's like, all them foot lads are great. And so maybe that comes, like, if that General's Handbook news is right, like, maybe all those little foot heroes and lads get really good for a season. And that'd be nice, I think. Especially if you love the army, right? Like, if you're old school, what you want to play is a bunch of Chaos Warriors.
It's also an absolutely massive book if you're doing, like, a hobby project, right? Like, it's absolutely huge. You've got all of the cultists, which are just phenomenal, all of the cultist models, and you can use them in Warcry, so they kind of double up, like, incredibly well for that, because you could just buy a bunch of the cultist models and then paint them. Like you said, the Chaos Lord and Karkadrak, and there's a whole bunch of stuff like the Dark Oath characters and all of that, which are really, really good. New Warriors, new these guys, new Chosen, you know, these new Theridins and stuff. There's all of the kind of monsters, like you talked about, the Ogroid Myrmidon, the Fomoroid Crusher, there's the Raptorix, there's there's a Mutant Vortex Beast, there's what's the thing that makes things strike last, whatever that's called, the big kitten.
Oh yeah.
There's that. So it's literally a massive range. So hopefully they've got the internal balance a little bit better, and you can field loads of different types of armies. But I, for one, am quite excited to see it in the meta as an army. Nathan, if you were to do Slaves to Darkness, I'm not saying you have to. And James, same question to you. If you were going to do it though, would you do loads of Varangard? Would you do loads of Warriors? Would you do loads of the weird, creepy animals? Which way would you go with it? That's kind of the question from me. Because for me, I think it would just have to be Chaos Knights. I think that they're iconically cool. I think they're really, really fun. I like them. So I would definitely go along that, in my opinion. Sphinx is the name of the monster. Thanks, Owen. Nathan, you got any thoughts what you'd do?
Yeah, I like the Chaos Warriors on foot. I also like the cultists that they do with all the different
They're fun, right?
Warcry bands and stuff. There's some pretty cool models in there. It's quite cool to see those running around. And then a few units of cav running around in between whilst the foot lads pin stuff in place or control the board, and then the cavalry run to go and deal with certain things, and then and obviously some heroes. It is, like you said, it's a huge book, and in that MetaWatch article they were saying they want all books to have like 65% of them, the units in the book, to be viable or something like that. They're looking at internal.
That's not what they said. They said that close. They said they wanted 65% of the units to be represented in 5% of the lists.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well,
so it's not that they want 65% of the units to be represented in 100% of the list. They wanted 65% of the units to be represented in 5% of the list. And when you read it like that, you're like, oh, actually, that's really low. Like it's pretty minimal effort if you think about it.
Yeah, I guess. All right then. I thought I did just scan through that. I just thought they were trying to promote internal balance a bit.
Well, no, they definitely said that that's what they were trying to do, and I super agree with you. I just don't know if that's a particularly high target. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what if I said to you that I intended to make sure I fully clean 65%, 65% clean 5% of the rooms in the house? You'd be like,
I like it even better if you're 65% clean, 5% on yourself.
Yeah, what if I said I was going to wash to a 65% standard, 5% of the area of my body? It would feel a little bit. Anyway, so no, I agree with you. So you said you wanted to run. What did you want to run? Oh, all the weird cultists. James, what about you? What do you want to run?
I think I'd just like rank and flank, like proper army. And then maybe some cultists or pure cultists, and probably Archeon for narrative.
Pure cultists,
because they're all trying to impress him, like in the Warcry narrative, because they want to be like the chosen cult. So I think it'd be nice to see him, and then like maybe one of each cult. I can't think how many there are from Warcry, but I don't want more than one. Just want like one of each and him.
For the narrative, so it'd be like a circus type thing,
it'd be cool. It'd be cool, I think, to see an army that looked not the same but kind of the same. Like that would be cool.
Honestly, I think it's actually very exciting because they Stormcast are 10% of the meta, and you almost feel like Slaves to Darkness should maybe be about 10% of the meta. They should be the other guys.
Yeah,
basically,
well, they're the altar, right? Like. They're the other half to that thing. And I think when that first box came out and it was Stormcast and Khorne, like Games Workshop weirdly lent into Stormcast and Khorne being like mortal enemies instead of being like, oh, actually, we could just have like big lads hitting big lads. Let's go.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, Damn God, they should be like Chaos Space Marines in 40k. I think they should, and maybe they haven't really found their feet with it yet. Like because Age of Sigmar is one of those games where it accidentally got created in a lot of ways, and then they've been working out. Okay, so that's Slaves to Darkness. Personally, pretty hype. I do Chaos Knights myself, but I think the Chosen look like there's a guy with a hammer in the Chosen unit that's like really tickling my pickle. I'm like, yeah, get me some of that in my life. Like I just want to do like a big smash attack. But then for Destruction fans, and so I'm sorry that obviously I'm using words, which I know is difficult, but at least they're spoken words, not them difficult ready words. The Ogre More Tribes is also going on release this weekend. So the Ogre More Tribes are going on release on the 5th, which means we all get to find out for the rules for the Ogres as well. Nathan, surely this has got you excited.
Well, like I said, Ogres aren't really my thing, but I will definitely have a look at when the book comes out. I might listen to a man that reads a book or wait for it to be updated on certain places, whatever. People do PDFs and stuff, don't they? So I'll have a look at the rules because I do keep an eye on the old Ogre lads. They used to have some cool rules back in the day, and they're a cool army.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, James, could I interest you in some chunky boys?
Do you know, like, I like when I see someone playing an ogre's army, I'm always like, nice, good work, lad.
Mm.
But they're just one of those armies that if I ever was like gonna play ogres, I'd be like, can't be bothered to paint that skin.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't think they do it for me to play. Like, seeing people play, I'm always like, you go, lad. Unless it's just Frostlords
on Stonehorns.
Frostlords, those. Don't want to, not those. Don't play those. Don't be that person. But like all those lads with the cannons, love them. I also still like the fact that they keep getting updated, but they're still carrying cannons from the old world. Like, good for them ogres. Loads of heroes didn't survive the end time, but that ogre and his cannon still going.
It's still going. Still
says Kislev.
It still says Kislev on the side of the cannon. You're absolutely right. I think
it's been passed down, man and boy.
It somehow survived the destruction of the entire world. Yeah. Eddie in the chat. Also, by the way, Nathan, Eddie in the chat said that he got into competitive Age of Sigmar specifically because he listened to one of your battle reports, like one of your tournament recaps on a Monday.
Mm.
So
I bet it was the one where I played Bragoth's Beast, whatever the hell he was. That was a great game. One of my favourite games. I bet it was that one.
I remember it fondly. That one. Yeah, I agree. So the point I wanted to point out in the chat, though, is that surely it's prey for the Gutbusters. So that was Janitoro in the chat. Like, we are at the Gutbuster level, because the Gutbusters have always kind of sucked, right? Like, they've always been like the Gluttons, the Iron Guts, the Lead Belchers.
I like the feedback on what battle report it was in the chat.
Mm-hmm. It was the one when he was talking about Spiker being buffed up and then failing. That's the one. Yeah.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Wasn't that a game that I was live streaming you playing a game where you tried to kill Archeon with Spiker, but you only had one attack with 2 damage or something?
That sounds about right. I don't see what the problem is. I think it was when I was playing against maybe Nige, and I had the Gobblepalooza against them. And I remember I finally managed to get that Fungoid Cloud spell off, but I had a Moonface Mommet anyway, and so it was a waste of time because I was already taking their armor save away. So yeah, I remember that game actually. Yeah. But at least I got that spell off. It's not often that spell gets used in anger.
What does he get used in then?
Just carry it around with you in case you get close. The problem is Shrewmancer has to get within 8 inches of the enemy unit to be able to cast the spell.
Yeah.
So he has to do that in a hero phase somehow. So obviously can't teleport it. So he's got to be there before the shit happens. So you got to lure them over. So I managed to lure some ogres over, cast the spell on them, but I was already attacking them with a Gargant who was like Rend 1, and there was a Moonface Mommet there, which was pointless pointing at anything else because that was the only fight. So I pointed at them, and then the spell it still made them -1 a hit, but they were all dead anyway. So sad times being Shrewmancer. But yeah, I remember that's probably the only time I've got that spell off in anger, and where it's actually been used in the fight, and it wasn't really used in the fight either.
Okay, thank you for that. So that story got someone into Age of Sigmar. There you go. How do you feel?
That's great for them, and yeah, that's a good story. One of my favourite stories. I remember it fondly. I might write it down in a book, but probably won't. I might draw a picture of it. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, oh my god, we've just had a massive gift subscription from Big Golden Thick Dude for donating £69 and 69p to the show. He said, "Payback for me cooking in the background for too long. I love you, gents." Big Golden Thick Dude.
Nice.
Thank
Wonder what
you.
he's cooking.
I'd cry along, but I've just cried at Nathan's story and the comment in the chat.
Nathan is a hobby progeny.
Oh no, my favourite was Sophia Kittens, who said, "Funnily enough, this is how that is how I found the channel too. Pretty sure Nathan DC'd every 2 seconds too. and I was like, I need more of this in my life.
We're a professional show, and if anyone says different, then fuck them. That's what I say. I can't thank Big Golden Thick Dude enough. Let me just tell you that I would be a big golden thick dude with you if I could be. I don't know what that means, but
it means you're a Stormcast.
It's fine. It's fine. Well, we're going to talk about that in the update, James. You're going to be so excited. Have you still got Karazai and Krondis?
Yeah, they're somewhere.
Get ready. Get ready to.
Well,
be excited.
I was more excited about the Andrasta one.
Okay, quick, yes, let's get James in it. Oh my God, big golden thick dude in the chat. James nailed it. Oh my God, you're Stormcast, bro. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
Nice.
I was.
Did he say what he was cooking?
What he was cooking?
Did he say he was cooking?
Oh,
no,
he
cuckling.
donated. He's a first-time chatter.
Is that his first time chatter?
He's a lurker.
A
Oh
lurker.
my God, a lurker. Oh my God.
Got our
He's
very own
joined.
stalker, boys.
Let's go, baby. Thick. Yeah, give me some. Oh my God, thanks. Thanks, first time chatter. He said he loves us. I don't know what we do is useful, but it might be fun, right? And that's
I've had a nice cry. Crying's good for you.
I was fucking howling. When Nathan
Look at
was
my
like,
eyes.
"Oh, I
I
remember
keep
that
looking at
story."
myself, and I'm
then I
just
was
like, oh, look like I've had a right little moment.
Yeah, I wondered if we were going to hear the whole story start to finish again.
I'd have gone. I'd have walked off. I've heard that story before. Don't need it again.
Oh shit! If I'm going to play our ogres, I'm going to need a more part. I've just realised. Okay. Anyway, so things.
Ask that big golden thick dude.
Well, thanks to
He's
big golden
cooking-
thick dude, I could get a more part.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
use a normal bowl and put it on the table. I'm
Yeah.
nice.
He's a cooker. He'll be able to tell you.
He's-
Did he
no,
say he was cooking?
No, he said payback for cuckling.
Oh, cackling.
I think maybe he might have sent cackling.
Chuckling? But cackling is interesting.
Cucking. He actually wrote C-U-C-K, so he wrote cucking.
Cackling.
Payback. He
No,
said.
no,
let me read
You
it
must
out
know, Nathan.
specifically. He wrote, "Payback for me cucking in the background too long. Love you, gents."
Oh, okay. No,
Nice.
don't do it in the background. Yeah,
You don't cuck in the background. You cuck in the foreground.
yeah, I think you should.
Okay. Yeah, cuck
That's
like
the
jerking
point,
off in the
isn't it?
corner. Oh, okay. Oh my God. Oh,
What's happened now?
I don't know,
I
man.
can't see the chat ever.
I don't.
No.
Don't worry about it.
You
They're
have to
being a
use
disaster.
The description.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I think we might have said the ogres are out. James, are you interested remotely in ogres and big, thick dudes?
Not playing, but I'd like ogres to have like a nice time.
Yeah.
But not the Frost Lord. No Frost Lord. Like he can be rubbish, and not like a little bit rubbish. Like 4 wounds on on like a 6 save.
So I actually know loads of ogre rumors. Would everyone like to hear them in order?
Go on then. What order?
But reverse.
You want me to reverse the order?
Yeah.
Okay, here I go.
Just
Hold
because
on.
it triggers you.
Huh?
What is the order?
I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to read them out to you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the order of all of the rumors that I know. Okay, so here we go. Hold on.
We are waiting
Oh,
with
it's on my
bated
old
breath.
phone. Shit.
Oh no.
Shit. It's on my old phone. Okay, I'll try to remember off the top of my head. Okay, I'll try to remember off the top of my head. Number 1, when you charge with ogres.
Hang on. Whoa.
Okay.
I wanted them in reverse.
Yeah, but I don't know how many there are because I can't remember them backwards, James.
No, but I want you to say them backwards.
Okay,
Number
number
Z.
18.
Z.
No. The words backwards.
Oh my God.
So it'd
Okay.
be 81 to
Okay.
start.
All right, so this is going to be a game of, is Rob making it up or are these the real rumors? Okay.
Okay.
And rumours.
No, they're the facts. These
They're
are the
real
real
facts.
facts. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so first one, which people can verify, is Iron Guts have got an additional rend, so they go to rend 2, and they're damage 3, and then once per battle get to fight twice.
Okay.
That seems
And they're the lads
nice.
with the. Oh no, they're the hitty
They're the-
lads.
They're the big hitty lads, like
Big
the
hitty lads,
elite.
big fucking
Big
sticks and
stick.
stuff. Yeah,
They're-
right.
Nice.
They're
Those
rend
on-
2, damage 3 with 3 attacks each, and they come in units of 4.
What do
That's
they hit on?
nice.
They hit on 4s,
Do they? Oh.
don't they?
Have they got? Yeah, because trolls hit on 3s, and that's better than that. Do they?
They might hit on 3s.
How many wounds do they have?
4 each.
So I like trolls.
Okay, yeah.
How many in a unit?
A unit of 4.
Okay, they're not like trolls anymore.
Yeah. They used to hit on 3s, but now they hit on 4s.
Wow.
Oh wait.
That's a shame.
Oh, they might still be 3s. Don't quote me. Okay, the fight twice bits is
It's
important.
too late. We've already done that.
Okay,
quoted.
right, okay. So then next up is when you charge with a unit in the current Ogre book, if you're like a monster, then you roll whatever your charge roll is. Let's say it's a 10. You roll 10 dice, and if you're a monster, every 4 up is a mortal wound. But in this, every 6 up is like. But then if you do a normal unit, every 6 up is a mortal wound. So it's like no point having like gluttons, for example. However, they've changed it now that if you've got over 3 models, in the unit, so like then it changes to a 5 up, and if you've equipped the unit with meat fists, right, which are kind of is like a weapon kind of thing, then it goes to 4 ups. So you could have like little MSU units of ogre gluttons doing like impact hits and mortal wounds attacks, and they've given the gluttons rend, and they didn't used to have rend, but now they've got rend 1.
Nice.
So that's pretty good. I'm a big fan of that. I think the spicy thing about it, James, I'm sorry, it's going to be about Frostlord and Stonehorn, is that they've got a new monstrous action, which is pretty snazzy. So you charge in, if you've charged, right, then you get to a monstrous action, and your monstrous action is roll 3d6, and then whatever that is, you can move that far as if you fly, then every model you fly over takes D3 mortal wounds on a 2+. Not every model, every unit, sorry. Every unit you fly 2+ D3 mortal wounds. So imagine how spicy that is. Charge in, do loads of mortal wound impact hits, then fly over a unit, and then hit some more things.
Cool. And then, so that's every monster, not just Frost.
No, that's a Frostlord and Stonehorn only.
Stonehorn.
Or maybe it's just a Stonehorn. I don't know which one. Yeah. So
cool.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. In fact, it's
James not interested.
Coolish, maybe.
I just, I just feel like the Ogre books just always had a Frostlord and Stonehorn in for so long. Like, I just don't want to see one now.
Bro, it's super cool though. It's super cool because it's literally like he plows through. Imagine you charge like the unit next to a unit of bow snakes or sentinels. So
should have done it on the Rhino lad.
Oh, what, on the Ironblaster?
That.
Yeah, I agree.
Give me that instead, but just for a book.
Well, okay,
just
so
let
now
him have a sleep.
I can make you feel a bit better. Now, normally the Ironblasters used to be 1 shot.
Yeah.
Hitting on 4s, it did D6 damage. But now it's got 2 shots. Still hitting on 4s, but ignore that. Ren 2, so it's gone up, right? And it does D3 plus 3 damage. So it's way more reliable in the damage profile. So you'll like if you got 2 shots through, you're definitely doing 6 damage, right? And then you're doing 6 plus 2d3 damage. So like it's pretty decent. It's gonna be 10 damage at range at Ren 2. And there's a sub-faction you can take it in where Iron Blasters, so that's the cannon, and then Lead Belchers, which are the little boys with cannons, all get an additional pip of Rend. So then that'll be Ren 3 at range.
Right, because there used to be one that's a hero that gave them all an extra shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was
a spell. A spell? No, there was a command ability, I think.
That was it.
Yeah, or a sub-faction, or an aura.
Yeah, a sub-faction, I think.
Yeah.
The Underguts or something on that. The we don't know points though.
We don't know points, I'm afraid. So this is just techie bits that you get. But I mean, already we've got Lead Belcher. Sorry, we've got the Gutbusters, not the Gutbusters. What are they called? The little ones, the Battleline Bros. Yeah, they're already better.
Gluttons. Gluttons. They might make it into 5% of the lists.
They might make it into 5% of the lists. Iron Guts fight twice. Yeah, our cannon is better, which is pretty exciting. So like all told, I think that's pretty cool. That's some pretty cool stuff, personally, that we've seen from the stuff that we want to see. That's my opinion anyway. So I'm actually really excited about the book. I think it could be really fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
We find out this weekend.
This weekend. Yeah, this weekend. Unfortunately, though, not many new models. But the Vanguard set is pretty dope. It is a Tyrant, traditionally quite bad, because foot heroes are bad. A unit of Lead Belchers. And then a unit of, I still can't remember their name, even though you said it too. Gluttons. And then 2 Mournfang and an Iron Blaster, which could be a scrap launcher if you want it to be, James.
Nice.
Jumon thing. What about? Haven't they got a new hunter thing? Is he in there? No.
Yeah, so that is on
He's
pre-order, but that's
ugly,
not. He's on pre-order, but he's not in the Vanguard box. The Vanguard box is.
He's also ugly.
Yes, he is ugly. The Blood Pelt Hunter is gross. That is
He's got funny horn things, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of him.
You don't like him?
Give me the rolling pin people. Like, make them better. They were better models.
Which ones?
They're like the rolling pin and the ninja and the pirate.
I mean, yes, the man-eaters. I mean, I think it's actually quite disappointing that it's still an older model range. And actually, this is one of the rare instances where the 3D print universe lets you down. There aren't loads of good. Normally, if you were to pick any other range, I'd be like, there are loads of alternative sculpts. But actually, Ogre sculpts are fairly limited, pretty thin on the ground, which I think is a little bit sad. But they're quite plain, the Ogre models. So I reckon there's good opportunity for quite a lot of conversions on them, in my opinion. I think they're quite cool. And not as many models to paint, basically, because you're not going to have hordes of stuff, right? So it's a pretty low model count army. So this might be a shoe-in for the coolest new starter army in the game, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Definitely good for conversions. Remember Nikos's ogres?
Oh my god, incredible stuff. Yeah, the
with
Empire
hats.
ones. Yeah.
That were great. Puffy sleeves and things.
So Mega Hamster in the chat says that Avatars of War have apparently done some, and Snuggle says War Games Atlantic have done some. So yeah, then the big guys on pre-order, the Blood Pelt Hunter, and then also there's the Man-Eaters. Don't worry, they're back. So we're safe on the Man-Eaters if you guys are happy with that. And then there's also some War Scroll cards, but those War Scroll cards are separate. Then there's some Ogre dice, and I don't know how you feel about it.
No, don't even talk about them.
Yeah, I agree. Nathan,
because like the last Ogre dice were the giant dice, right? So why make these rubbish ones? Even just remake the big ones.
Even remake the big ones.
Like, I don't even need new exciting dice. Just give me the original exciting dice.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. These are comfortably some of the worst dice we've seen from Games Workshop. Again, Games Workshop, when you made that pivot to making terrible dice, we hated it as a thing.
Also, right? I don't know about anyone else. In fact, I do know about everyone else. Everyone in this chat has ordered dice.
In their lives?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not custom, like, individually to them custom dice, but I imagine everyone in this chat has ordered dice. Why would you buy the plain white boys?
Yes.
Like, you can have sparkly ones, you could have blue ones, you could have red ones, you can have them in your favorite color, but why would you buy white with a black pip?
Thanks Disco Rat for resubscribing. Oh my god, shout out to my German bro. So great to see you. Why would you buy these dice? I don't know. Maybe you're just...
So you can colour them in? Can you slap
them in? I agree. Yeah. I agree with you, James. They're boring dice. Of all the dice in the world, they're boring.
Also, while you're on that screen, look how good those models are.
Yeah, so the Man-Eaters. So I do think that the Ninja and the Lady and Man-Eater have all gone away forever. And now the only Man-Eaters that have stayed are these 3 Man-Eaters that you're seeing here. Maybe they've all stayed. Maybe they didn't get all of them in the picture. But I know also that you get to use Man-Eaters as your battle line, and also that Man-Eater units generate command points on a 3-up or something like that. So that's quite interesting. So I'm a bit sad if we lose the Ninja and the rolling pin lady. But you could definitely just use them in your games, and no one's ever going to say anything bad about it, right? Everyone's going to be like, that's fine.
Yeah, why would they get rid of them?
Yeah, why would they?
The only
Probably
one I might...
them old.
Well, maybe. The only one I could see that they'd have a reason for getting rid of is that one that was basically from the Empire. Because it was literally from the Empire, right? There was one in... Oh, but then they're still around. No, none of them make sense. There's still people walking around in Free Guild uniforms.
There are.
From Kislev, yeah.
Yeah, with Kislev.
Yeah, with a Kislev cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, keep them all. They're all good. Bring them back. Maybe we should start a petition.
Maybe.
How many signatures do you think we need?
How many do we need, or how many will we get? We'll get 15 signatures. We'll need loads more than that.
I might try. I'm going to see. If they don't come out, I'm going to start that.
James, you're not actually thinking about current modern political philosophy. Like, like, and not to bang on about it, but you really need to not. What you need to do is start your own news network. Yeah, just push some sort of man-eater related fake news agenda constantly and daily. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then get people to pay for your legal bills based on the slander that you're going to create. Yeah.
Nice.
And
So-
then that's how you're going to create effective and lasting change.
So what you're asking me to do is set up a rival channel,
Wait,
but
so-
I only talk about ogre man-eaters.
Oh, wait, so that's what we do. I just described what we do in your opinion. Fuck you, James. Right?
Thought that was
you.
quite good, personally.
Yeah. So anyway, so Ogre news coming from James soon as he's kicked off the show, and then there's some Ogre cards or whatever, Ogre dice. There's a Sylvaneth Vanguard box which is great, and there's some Sons of Behemoth stuff. So we spent a while on this, but I just thought it was exciting to talk about the 2 new Battletomes and what's coming out. So I'm personally looking forward to both. I think just jumping off the back of the Sylvaneth book, I'm really hoping that they're not as copy and paste these new 2 upcoming books as we've seen from previous books. My personal opinion, I think the game has been really good, but the releases have been pretty boring, like over the past. And we haven't actually had a lot of models released this year. I don't know if anyone.
Almost none, right?
Almost none. Like just mainly one. So like the Slaves to Darkness release is also quite exciting because there's also a bunch of new models that we're going to see on the tabletop, which is also very cool. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So yeah, there you go. Okay, good. Is there anything that stands out to anyone? Like Nathan, anything that stood out to you?
No, it's going to be good to see them when they come.
Okay, all right.
Be interesting to see how people play the Slaves to Darkness with the weird tournament rule thing.
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. That will be interesting. Like, how do you think that people should just let them play it, or should we wait until it's on general release?
Well, I imagine most people are going to want to play with the nice new rules. So, if I ever play anybody and they want to play with new rules, I will let them do that.
Yeah. I think Cascade's got a good point in the chat. F in the chat for start collecting Beastclaw Raiders. Probably the best value box ever. It was easily one of the easiest ways to ever get into Age of Sigmar that ever existed up until this
Yeah,
point.
I also think that might be a reason it went, right? Because you could literally buy and play an army for 150 quid. Whereas actually what we've just seen is, even though there's lots in there, that Slaves to Darkness box is probably what? Oh, we've got the points. Probably what, like 400 points of an army for 120 quid?
Maybe a little bit more, but yeah, it's not tons of points. So yeah. Oh yeah, the start collecting Flesh Eater Courts is the last bastion of value. That's a good point as well, actually. That's a pretty good box.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
a
well,
pretty
the dragon, isn't the dragon or bat the same price as the box now?
I think
If
it
you buy it
is.
separate.
I
Like,
think-
there's no reason you wouldn't buy that box.
Yeah. Say that to my 5 Stonehorns, 3 Tuntos, and 28 more fags. Yeah.
Good value.
Yeah, it's
but
good value. There's a lot of
I've had enough
Morn.
of them.
Yeah, I've had a lot of there. There's enough Mornfangs in the universe, I think, to be honest. Okay, all right. Next bit, James, Nathan. This is where you're hot on the button now. Yeah, you get to ask me a load of questions. So they released a Battlescroll update. Okay. Games Workshop released a Battlescroll update. I've already done a video. You can go watch it on the YouTube channel. I recorded it very late. I forgot to click my green screen off, so I was like, okay, yeah, that's recording. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, I can't put this on any graphics. So it's a bit of a disaster. But anyway, I think the information in it is pretty solid. I don't think I missed anything, so I think I'm pretty prepped to answer some questions and also to talk about some really fun shit that we might be able to do, which I'm pretty hype about. So,
Cool.
yeah, they so they did the Battlescroll update. Did you pay attention to all of it, Nathan, or was you just mainly Gits focused?
I was mainly Gits focused. I did look briefly at the Cruel Boy stuff because that's cool army, and had a brief scan through some of the other stuff, but not a great deal. Purple Sun, obviously, took another gentle kicking.
Yeah.
That's about it, really.
Okay. Well, there's some big updates. James, is there anything that jumped out to you? Have you not had a chance yet?
No, I did look, and I was going to open it, but I can't remember what it comes under on the website now. Do I have to go to a specific page?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll put the link in the chat for everyone right now.
That would be lovely.
I'll include the link in the show notes as well. Some people don't like. It's quite interesting. Some people don't even like pay. Like, you know, it's quite hard, these Battlescroll updates, because obviously I'm wildly invested in Age of Sigmar and also what the updates are and do and when. The updates when they come out, like, even though it feels like it's old news, right? Because it was Thursday and it's Monday. It's actually not that long ago for people who work in the jobs or maybe kind of casually interested. So I thought it might be fun to kind of do like a little bit more of a simple breakdown, although they would have had to listen to the past hour and a half of nonsense to get here. So,
no, we don't talk. I don't think we ever talk nonsense.
That's true. Well done to you, casual listener, for getting here. But yeah, the Battlescroll Galician reinforcement. So this is kind of what they put out. I'll give you the kind of highlights, James. Basically, there was a bunch of rules clarity stuff, which we won't really go into because it's a bit nonsensical and doesn't really matter. There was some rules changes and there were some points changes, and I guess those are the bits that we'll focus on today. The rules changes that are fairly important are for Beasts of Chaos and also for Cruel Boys. Specifically for Beasts of Chaos, they've kind of changed it so you can't get quite as many summoning points in your army. And then for Cruel Boys, they've made it so, I don't know if you know this, but in order to, so Cruel Boys have got a weapon profile, or a battle trait, sorry, that their weapons are venom encrusted, so that when they stab you and if they roll a 6, whatever the damage value of the weapon, they do that many mortal wounds. So if it's damage 1, they do 1 mortal wound. If it's damage 5, they do 5 mortal wounds for their weapon. So venom encrustable weapons. A shaman can give them a special potion. I'm not really sure how that works because it's on the weapon. Do they like put more poison? I don't know how it works. Anyway, and then it takes them from a 6 up to hit to a 5 up to hit to cause the mortal wounds. Right. Which is pretty cool. But that meant they had to stop. They weren't allowed to cast any spells. You can't give someone a potion and cast a spell at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. So then they've taken that away, and now you can cast a spell and do a potion.
Yeah.
Nice.
They never used to cast spells, did they? They were always just giving potions.
Yeah, you were basically just paying points to follow around this wizard to follow around. So basically, Cruel Boy's army has never cast a spell. And now they're at a place where they can cast. I mean, there were some people were taking Gobsprak to cast some spells and stuff. So, like, they were, but now they're an army who your value is much higher because now you're definitely taking the shaman for the buffs, and now you're also casting spells, which is pretty good. So yeah, really really fun. So yeah, have you got any thoughts on that, Nathan? You said you looked at that.
Yeah, I think that's nice for them because they don't seem to be doing particularly well in the old Meta Watch, have they? So the old stats.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that'll help them a bit. And they had a few points reductions as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be cool. I like the army, so hopefully we'll see more of them doing better stuff.
Much better stuff. James, what do you think?
It'd be nice to see. I think like it's really weird, right? Because that Cruel Boys model range was probably the first range of all new models we'd had in ages, and then they kind of made them a bit garbage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And some people took a lot of shooters and then they fell away. So yeah, but I think it's nice to see someone try and give them some love. I'm not sure that's enough, like really, but it's nice to see.
Well, actually, what's quite exciting about is it kicked off a really good conversation between me and the voices in my head, and we were discussing in detail that actually it feels like points changes are so much less impactful than tech changes. So, like, when we get to it, they also made Gut Rippers, who are 180 points for a 10 wound unit that are on a 5-up save with a terrible bravery. They made them 160 points, but I would have much preferred them to have been 180 points and have a 4-up armor save. That just feels like a lot better as a unit, like, you know, or make their scare shield so they're permanently -1 to hit. Like, it's generally like more of an upgrade and just being cheaper. And actually, Nathan, this is gonna 20 wounds. Sorry, it's 10 models but 20 wounds. Sorry, thank you by the way. we had a conversation. I thought we had a conversation. Oh yeah, I also had a conversation with Owen as well, but I was very tired that day, so I forgot about that. So Owen is actually a human being and not a voice in my head. Like, let's just remember
Are you
that.
sure?
Well,
Do you know what I like? I like the idea that Owen doesn't exist.
and we've all
And
dreamed
the
him up.
whole community has humoured you for this long.
Yeah.
Also, no offence, Owen, but it is funny that way.
Or he's a voice in everybody's head.
Nice.
Oh,
I like
maybe.
that. Yeah, like the
everybody
Sandman.
just sees him.
Yeah, the sock man. That's what they call him. Yeah, just he randomly appears in your socks and whispers things like, "You'll never get a 5-0," and then just vanishes. Yeah, into the mist. Yeah, I like that. Anyway, yeah, so we talked about this because Nathan, when we talk about the gits in a minute, I'm going to ask you that question actually about like the utility and about what the points are versus like the changes. But this is kind of an interesting one. I don't think this is enough for Crawl Boys, but it definitely helps the Crawl Boys army out because there's that. And then Gloom Spike Gits. Now this is the one I want to talk about because this is the one that's so exciting, right? Oh shit, son! This is basically the point of today's show. We could have just done nothing and just talked about this. James, Nathan, I know you know. James, get ready. Add the following note section to the Arachnarok Spider with Spider Fang War Party pitched battle profile. Battle line if your general is a Spider Fang.
Nice. So you just have a load of big spiders?
You just have a low. Well, no, because you're thinking that no. Okay, Nathan will be able to tell you. Nathan, what sort of spiders are there specifically? Like the whole Spider Fang range. What spiders are we rocking?
Well, so the Arachnaroks. You've got the Arachnarok with the War Flinger. What you're talking about? Not the War Flinger, the War Party.
War Party.
You got the one with the Flinger.
The Flinger. Now, importantly, just to talk about this, the Flinger's an artillery piece, very much like the Mortek Crawler.
Yeah.
But the Mortek Crawler went down points. Did the Flinger go down points?
I doubt it. It's such a good piece.
Good. Yes, excellent. Okay, continue. What other spiders are there?
And then the other Arachnarok you have is a Skitterstrand. So that's the one that comes naked, the way that everybody used to build them in 8th edition. And then you do get a hero vision. So it's one with a web spinner shaman on top with a shrine. He's pretty good. Buffs himself to cast spells and stuff. And then you get a Scuttle Boss. He's on a monstrous spider, but not a monster spider. It's a big spider, but not massive. And then you get your Spider Riders.
Okay, good. So in order to make the War Party battle line, you would need to have either a Web Spinner Shaman, a Scuttle Boss on Big Spider, or
you can take the Web Spinner Shaman on foot. So just the little shaman off the back of the Arachnarok, just wandering around.
Having a great time.
In his pants, yeah, casting spells.
Okay, yeah, right, pretty fun. Yeah, so those are the ones you take. So then it's time to talk about what it does. Okay, so someone's asking a really good question in the chat. Isn't it a behemoth? It is a behemoth, but that's its battlefield role. When you change it to being battle line, it goes from behemoth to battle line, and therefore you can have more than 4 of it, whereas normally you can only have 4 behemoths. It's no longer counts as a behemoth. Still a monster, but isn't a behemoth because that's the battlefield role. I know that's confusing. Like, that's fair to say. But Nathan, do you want to tell us what an Arachnarok on Arachnarok with a Spider-Fang War Party does, please?
With the War Party, sure.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now. Basically, I reckon I'm finding it. Let's get started with War Party. Here we go. So they come with 14 wounds with a 4-up save.
14 wounds with a 4-up save.
Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty good start.
Wounds.
Pretty good start.
Not bad. Bravery 6, so not the bravest of spiders.
But it's just one.
Yeah, it is just one. And then its move starts off at... these things only move 8, don't they? These lads. Where's the table? Yeah. They move 8, And then as it takes damage.
So sorry, I'm sorry, I'm not really sure I'm up on this right now. Chat, could you just let me know if a monster that moves 8 is fast or medium or slow? I'm not currently up to date on how fast monsters move in the game. But sorry, Nathan, would you consider 8 to be fast enough?
Slow. Yeah, that's a slow.
That's a slowy.
Monster. Yep.
So it's more of you say it's more of like a frontline battle monster.
Yeah, it's a monster that doesn't move terribly fast.
Okay, good.
I mean, it's got a massive base as well. And also that degrades fairly quickly as it takes damage. So
wait, it goes lower than 8?
Yeah.
What does it go down to?
After it's taken 4 wounds, it takes 7. After 7 wounds, 6. 10 to 12 wounds is 5, and 13 wounds is 4-inch move.
Nice. Same as a dwarf.
Yeah, like a dwarf.
Like a dwarf.
Yeah. So that's the stats off of the wheel. Weapon-wise, it's got loads of goblins on the back.
Okay.
So it's got 10 shooting attacks, which hit on 5s. And wound on 5s, they don't have rend, and they damage 1, so they do 0 damage. But there's a lot of dice to roll.
Well, so very much, they're kind of similar to, like, Reavers from Deacon.
No. They're similar to goblins on spiders and other goblins that shoot on 5s and wound on 5s.
Sorry, Nathan, I know you're talking about stuff, but just Pete in the chat has just told us, is the base of an Arachnarok with War Party a 6-inch base?
Maybe.
So it can barely move the length of its own base.
Yeah, probably.
It just wiggles.
Yeah, I reckon it's about that. Yeah.
Do you know what? Maybe we don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's the narrative that they're all trapped under cups and they can only move as far as the giant overbeing moves the cup.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
True.
Yeah, we've missed
Probably why they don't have any rend either, because they're probably hitting a cup.
In the cup, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably why they hit on 5s.
Yeah.
The spears, when they get to a fight, the little goblin spears, still 10 attacks.
10 attacks.
5s and 4s. So no rend again, and damage 1. So
wait, hold on. So let me just get this right. So the War Party, so it's an Arachnarok, which is the monster, but the thing on top is this Goblin War Party with its 10 shooting shots and its 10 fighting
and 10
shots.
stabby shots. Yeah.
So you're mainly paying for them 10 goblins.
Yeah, them and the gigantic spider underneath.
Okay, gigantic spider underneath. Apologies. Continue.
So that gigantic spider underneath, when it is in a fight, it uses its big legs to jump up and down on people and stab them in the face and stuff like that, doing all the sorts of good stuff. That starts off with 8 attacks and then also decreases in exactly the same manner as the move does. So it's almost like the legs and the moving are intertwined. A tale as old as time. And so the it starts off with these 8 attacks, which again hit on 4s, so not the most skillful of creatures.
Okay.
Wound on 3s,
okay,
so fairly sharp.
Mm-hmm.
They have rend of 1, and
rend
they do
of
damage. 1. Damage of 1.
Okay.
So probably not a great deal of damage from that, unless you get really lucky.
I mean, roughly you hit with half, so 4.
Yeah.
And then you're going to wound with only 3 of those. And then round 1, they're going to save 1. So your grand total is going to be maybe 2 damage?
Yeah, so far.
Good.
And then you can try and bite them.
Okay, so you've got some big fangs.
Fangs, yeah. That's what spiders are there for. They're fangs. They got 4 fang attacks, which start off hitting on 2s. So they're very skillful with biting things.
Okay.
They do wound on 3s, and they have rend of 1, and they do D3 damage. However, the fangs have also got poison on.
Okay.
So if you do roll a 6 to hit, or if you're lucky enough to have the moon shining on you, it'll be a 5 to hit. Instead of doing D3 damage at rend 1, you just do D3 mortal wounds.
Oh my god, D3 mortal wounds. Okay, so you got 4 attacks doing D3 mortal wounds on 6s to hit.
6s, possibly 5s if you've played the moon into the right spot, or there's an artifact you can use, and there's even a command trait you can use, like you can do a shout. but you have to take a special sub-faction for that. So yeah, that'll be 5s. So.
Okay. So some pretty powerful abilities. Do you want to know a list I wrote? Because I thought you might be interested.
Go on then.
In this list. So it's let me just get this right. So you have a Web Spinner Shaman as your battle line. As your general. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have
What's his name though?
It's a great question. We'll come back to that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't call it narrative if you can't stop me. 8 Arachnarok spiders with Spiderfang War Party. Yeah,
Nice.
8 legs, 8 spiders, the power of 8. And then you could either go for a 115-point triumph bid, a bit of a classic, yeah, if you wanted to. Yeah, or you can even add yourself in an endless spell, whatever you want. I would obviously suggest
yes. Skulltide.
Skulltide, of course, and that takes you to 1955, right? And correct, thank you, Eddie. So we've added it. We've added the Skulltide. It's 1955 points, and it's 8 Arachnaroks with Spiderfang War Party. I actually run the damage calculations on this, Nathan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So James, you might be interested because I know already you're like, that's it. I'm getting back into Age of Sigmar.
I'm sold. This is what I want to see Nathan play for the next year. 6 months, sorry, 6 months.
Yeah. So I know what you're asking yourself. Okay, so Archaon's being released, Slaves to Darkness.
Yeah.
What do I do? What do I do if I charge Archaon with 8 Arachnarok spiders with Spiderfang War Party? And I've run the math, and I've done it. Because he has a ward save, a bit of unfortunate. That kind of saves him. I know.
Boo. Yes.
Boo.
That's cheating.
I agree.
But then the web spinner's got a ward save. Old Warren the web spinner.
Yeah, the web spinner does have a ward save. That's correct. And so if you charge everything, if you can't actually surround his base with all of them. But
but imagine you could.
But we can because he's flying.
Yeah.
And we're on webs.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So we can. They're all in.
They're all in.
They're all in.
Yeah. So the maths is you do 4 damage.
How many wounds does he come with in
20,
total?
Unfortunately. And he heals 2d3.
2d3.
So
it's going well for us.
we're not winning round 1, but we've taken up a lot of fucking board space. Let me tell you. Yeah.
Just around him. Just around Archaon.
He's surrounded.
How many does he kill back?
On average 1 a turn. A battle round.
We got 8 turns?
A combat phase.
Oh, we got 4 turns.
Yeah,
rounds.
Yeah,
rounds.
we probably don't make it past turn 4. But what's exciting is we probably can't charge him until turn 2 or 3 because we only move 8 inches.
But he moves loads. He'll come over. He's an accommodating fellow.
He is.
He knows he's killing all of them while his army walks about scoring. Your opponent now, you'll go to an event and your opponent you'll be like, oh, they don't all fit. Be like, it's fine. They do. Oh, and my Kronspire Incarnate's just there, so now we're there the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Kronspine. I did the math on the Kronspine as well. You do more damage to a Kronspine because it doesn't have a ward save. So you do about 8 or 9. But then the Kronspine Incarnate levels up to level 732. And you're not able to beat it, which is a bit of a shame. So the interesting bit is...
What about when you shoot him with all the bows, arrows?
Oh, with all the arrows. Yeah, I didn't actually include all the arrow shots because it's going to be 80 shots.
Yeah.
5s and 4s.
So
it's 5s and 4s, right, Nathan? The bow
5s
shots.
and 5. No, 5s and 5s.
5s and 5s. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's got some rend?
No rends. No. That's for cheaters. Renders.
Any poison shots?
Nope. Nope. None of that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So
he has got 3 up save. And if all out defense, he's going to have a 2 up save. So I just don't think that arrows. Well, let's get him in.
I'll tell you what. Yeah. He would have to take 9 saves.
He would take. So he'd take 9 saves.
Yeah.
So on average, we do 3 wounds with the shooting.
Oh.
Even with the ward?
No, not with the ward, actually. And if you all out defenses, actually, we only do 1. Actually.
Let's have the 3.
Let's just
have
maybe
the
we won't
3.
have any CP.
He had no CP. He rolled bad. We
That's true.
did the 3.
It's true.
He
So,
used the CP to run really far to get close enough to us so we could fight him.
yeah. So I think overall, Games Workshop have fixed it really, which is good.
I didn't see that one coming. They really bolt out of the blue, you could say.
Yeah, this was left field. This is an interesting one. I think Gits players around the world are very excited about being able to put 8 Arachnarok spiders. See, what's interesting is if you take less,
be in 5% of them armies now.
It will be. This is kind of bit that I think is quite interesting. Is if you take less for each spider Arachnarok with Spiderfang War Party you don't have in your army significantly improves by literally anything else you put in it, in any way.
Yeah.
Like.
So what you're telling us is this battle scroll change is pivotal for you to realise the rest of your book's better than the Arachnarok spider with one.
Well, that's kind of what I think that they were doing. They're like, look, we'll make these battle line, and then you're like, okay, what are you trying to tell me? What sort of secret sauce are you getting at? And I think,
I tell you, it's at 5%. That's what they're going for. The 60 thingy majiggy 5% thing.
I actually don't agree.
Because I don't
think
you go. I don't think they were in the 5% before. 5% of armies. In fact, I'd be very surprised if they were in any percent of armies.
I agree. Can I tell you what I think? Can I tell you what I think it is? I think it's a threat. I think they're like, if you don't shut the fuck up, we're going to make all of your units like this. They're like, don't forget that we did this to you. Yeah? Don't forget that this exists. So don't fuck with us. I think that's what it is. Because why else would you be able to say 8? Why do 8 fit perfectly into a list? Yeah?
That's a careful calculation, that is.
It's intentional, right? And so, yeah, we're the bad boys of AOS. And Gits players are the bad boys of AOS. They've been told to calm it down.
Wind their neck in, yeah.
Literally, I think it's exactly that. So, yeah. But what's exciting, I think, as a takeaway, is when they do stuff like this, it does make you excited. Because even though we can know, like, you can run an army of steam tanks. You can run an army of Arachnarok with spider fangs. It would be probably the most boring game of Warhammer anyone's ever played.
What, the two armies fighting each other?
Yes.
Arachnox versus steam tanks?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it would.
Could you imagine, you would look at it and immediately be like, what a cool looking game. And then after the first turn, you'd both be like, this sucks. Ass.
Also, not only are they bad, but I had to look. They are $37.50 each.
Pounds?
Yeah.
My goodness.
So you could get them from a third-party reseller. So you'd maybe 30 quid there, right?
Yeah, 30
if you're on a good day.
Yeah. So.
And how many were we doing? 8?
8.
Like 210 quid? No,
more. And the web spinner.
240 quid plus some hero.
Yeah.
No, he comes in every box. You'll have 8 web spinners available.
No. You can't buy that box anymore, Nath.
No, he comes in the box. He comes one in of the box. Options. One of the options to build is the dude with the web spinner on the back.
Okay.
You actually might be able to make money because you might be able to just sell the web spinner shaman on eBay. I reckon you could sell him for
Get
15,
one free.
I reckon you could sell him for 15 quid. You'd easily make half your money back. Right? Not a joke.
Is Nathan buying them all?
He is.
How many web spinner wizards do you have, Nath?
3? 4?
You definitely need more. Send all your web spinner shamans
to Nathan. Yeah, please tweet him.
No.
And if you do have a web spinner shaman or an Arachnarok, please take a picture and tweet him with your paint job and the name of your web spinner shaman. That would be great. His Twitter handle is @NathPrescott. It's on the screen, just in case you miss it. I'll include it in the show notes. So please do. Lamau, the spider is sold out right now. Apparently, wherever Shazbot is in the world, the spider is sold out.
Yep. He's in the center of...
Still in stock on actual Games Workshop. You can buy 10. They have enough for me to buy 10.
You only need 8 to make it work.
Okay, can I buy 8? Oh, so if I buy them direct,
yeah,
£300.
What?
As Pershaw says, what price
That's
greatness?
small.
What price for the greatness is the question.
£300. Do
Okay,
they still have circulations?
so we don't necessarily agree that the changes that they made specifically to the War Party have solved Gits in the Battle Scroll, but they have made something quite fun. What other things would you like to be Battleline, Nathan and James? Same for the Twitch chat. What things which are currently not Battleline would you like to be Battleline? Mine is
In
obviously...
Gits?
Pardon me, James?
In Git or whole game?
The whole game. What would blow the game wide open to you personally if it was Battleline?
Can't almost anything be Battleline these days?
Lots of things can, but there's some big ones. I'm going to do the first one. I would like the Doom Wheel to be Battleline and reinforceable.
Nice.
Yeah, so you could have
Cool.
a unit of 3 Doom Wheels.
But they all move independently.
They
So when
all-
someone else moves them, they could move them away from each other.
Yeah.
Break
that's the-
coherency and they all die.
yeah. Perfect. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. You
Yeah.
where we're at. Yeah. So that's Doom Wheels, I think.
Cool.
Uh,
I'm going to go for the other classic monster that you see in 5% of lists.
Yeah.
The Charybdis.
Oh. Well, Nathan, I have got a surprise
Is
for
it
you.
Battleline already? I
It-
bet it is.
It is not Battleline already.
Oh,
It's actually got 20 points cheaper in the current GHB.
fuck yeah.
So it was.
How does that compare to the War Party then?
Okay, great question. Do you want to bring up the battle scroll and we could talk about it?
So Charybdis is 130, you said.
Well, it
and
used to be 150 points and now it's 120.
Oh.
130. Yeah. So it's gone down
Oh.
20 points, James.
So I had my Battleline unit and someone's ruined it in the chat. So someone said Stormcast Chariot, which now is what I want more.
Yeah.
But in my head, what I wanted
Yeah.
was Battleline.
Yeah.
Lord Celestin on foot.
Battleline Lord Celestin on fire.
Removes his hero word
Yeah.
because he's now Battleline. Endless them.
Just endless Lord Celestin on foot.
Can you imagine? And someone's like, "Oh, what have you got?" I was like, "Just Lord Celestin on foot." Because
Okay.
one of them's a hero,
Mm.
and the rest are Battleline.
That makes sense.
Just an army of real heroes.
Just an army
who
of
do
Lord Celestins.
Nothing.
Okay.
Everything average,
All right. Yeah, that's
but
good.
funny.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also,
So everyone, Nathan is pointing out, unfortunately, that the Charybdis is Battleline and Anvil Guard.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I'm
Really is.
afraid.
What about the War Hydra then?
The War
Yeah,
Hydra is also got 20 points cheaper. The Dreadlord and Black Dragon got 20 points cheaper. James, I know you haven't looked at this yet, so I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you think the price of everything has gone down by? Just guess.
10 to 20 points.
Specifically one of those two, which one do you think?
Probably 10.
Wrong. 20 points. Everything's gone down by 20
Nice.
points. How much do you think everything has gone up by specifically?
Let's go with the average of 20 points then.
Correct, yeah, you absolutely nailed it.
Nice.
Yeah, correct. You're correct, yeah. Yeah.
Sit in
20
the middle.
points. Yeah,
So
just-
perfect balance is achieved.
Thank you, Hulkster, for resubscribing. All right, Nathan. The Charybdis was 150 points, yeah? And now it's
Yeah.
130. For 20 points, what did we get? Come on, tell me about this unit. Tell me what does it do?
Oh, the Charybdis.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I went on to the War Hydra for some reason.
Well, I mean, it's exciting.
Charybdis. So, this monster of 130 points
Mhm.
has got 12 wounds with a 4-up save.
Okay, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Is it fast?
It's less meaty than a Arachnarok.
Yeah,
To
it's not got as
start.
many wounds. It's only got the 12
But-
wounds.
It's got the same bravery of 6.
Okay. I like that we're looking at the bravery. That's good. Yeah, okay, I'm into that.
And shock and horror.
Yeah.
It's slower. It's a 7-inch moving beast.
It only moves 7 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as it takes 2 wounds, it then goes 6. And that rapidly drops to moving 4 inches. So, like a dwarf.
Okay, all right. Pretty slow, pretty slow.
Slow, smaller base. So, at least it can say it covers new ground. It has, in its fightiness, it has fanged tentacles,
Ooh,
which start with 6 attacks.
yeah. I'm in. Give me more.
They
Danny.
hit on 4s,
Yeah, love that.
wound on 3s, have rend of 1 and do 2 damage.
Not the best, I'm gonna say.
No?
Has
Fair,
got-
I would say.
Has it got any special rules?
Similar-ish to the thingy. It's also got clawed limbs, which are 2 attacks, 3s, -1, 1 damage. So meh. Spike tail, which does d6 attacks. And it is spiked. Hits on 4s. Start to wound on 2s, and then that decreases as it gets wounded. Only doing 1 damage, no rend on that. Then it's accompanied by 2 little elfie fellas. And they do 1 attack each, so 2 attacks, 2-inch range, 4s, no rend, 1 damage, so fairly rubbish. Probably about the same damage as the 10 goblins. So it subtracts the 1 from bravery of enemy units within 12, because it's got a abysmal howl. And at the end of the combat phase, if any enemy models were slain by the wounds inflicted by this model's attack in the combat phase, yeah, it's got to be slain as well. You can heal D3 wounds allocated to the model.
Oh, nice.
You can use the lash off the wee little elfies. Before you make a charge roll, you can say the handlers are going to apply the lash. If you do so, roll 3d6, remove 1 dice of your choice, and use the remaining 2d6 to determine the charge roll.
Ooh.
However, if the 3d6 was a triple,
Uh-oh.
basically if it was drunk like a giant ale guzzler, the model suffers 1 mortal wound and cannot make a charge remove in that phase.
Nice.
And that is all of its specials.
James, I don't know if you've heard the Charybdis stat profile before. What are your thoughts?
It's
Wow.
garbage. It's a cool model. It's just such garbage. Like, it's one of those models that I occasionally look at and I'm like, you, in the right environment, I'd use you. And then you read it and you go, oh, no.
Not this environment.
The environment
The
is not
same.
quite right.
As the Black Ark Fleet Master. Great model.
Well,
Awful.
I'm glad you said that. Thank you. Because, yeah, if you have a Black Ark Fleet Master as your general in an Anvil Guard army, you can take 12 Battleline Charybdises.
Nice.
Now that would be a battle of the ages. 12 Charybdises versus 8 Arachnaroks.
Yeah.
1 Warren, the web spinner, and whatever the hell the Fleet Master's called, Freddy the Fleet Master.
Yeah, and you play some Triumph and Treachery with the kid with all the steam tanks. Yeah.
Yep.
You're
And
having a
he
great
dusts
time.
you all up.
Yeah.
How do I spell Charybdis?
Oh, actually, you might get even more-
KH.
ARIBDYSS.
Got it.
Yeah. Oh wait, the points are not updated. Hold on, let me just do some math. 12 times 20 is
40.
240. Boys, I'm so sorry. It's 14 Charybdises.
Okay, so I've done some pricing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Official pricing, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So, hang on. I need to add a couple more Charybdises. Hang
It's
on.
14 Charybdises.
Yeah, I've only got 10 at the minute. Bear with me. Because apparently you can't buy more than 10.
It's 14.
I have to add them separately. Right, okay. Here we go.
Might be 15.
So, if we're going to do my list, I haven't put the Black Ark Fleet Master in because we own him. We all own him.
We all own him. Yeah.
If we play my list,
Yeah.
so just Lord Celestins, they're all battle line now.
Oh, you've already worked out all your Celestins.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good, yeah.
15 in a list.
15 Lord
Nice.
Celestins. Yeah.
It is slightly more expensive than your Arachnarok list
Okay.
by £15.
So
It's
it's
£315.
Okay.
How'd that do in a fight?
It's quite expensive for 15 on-foot Stormcasts.
That is quite expensive.
Yeah,
When you
that
think you
is.
could buy a box of 10 for 30-something quid.
Yeah, and you could just say that they're all like. You could say that
They all
they're
look the same.
Yeah, they all look
Really.
the same. It's fine. Okay.
But it gets better
Okay.
because we've priced up 14 Charybdis.
It might
And
be
I'm just
15.
saying these are all Games Workshop UK official prices.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
So
doing
buying
it.
them direct.
We'll do-
Supporting the small business.
Of course.
Yeah.
14
Yes.
lads. Whose list is this then? Nathan's? Nathan's list.
Yeah.
Is this
No,
the list he's
Nathan's
using?
running the war party. I'll be
Okay.
I'll be the Charybdis guy.
You're the Charybdis.
Yeah.
So you, as a man of taste,
Yep.
and high means, have chose the most expensive list of the day.
Yes. Well, how much?
Only 595 English pounds.
600 quid.
They are 40 something pounds a model.
What?
The
Wow.
Charybdis is the most expensive model in the list. At £42.50 each. And they have the little red arrow thing, which means I can only buy them from Games Workshop, right? Or only online. Only online.
Yeah, only online. Okay. Okay. So we need to we before we finish it off, we need to work out how many the steam tanks are, just to kind of round this all off.
Okay.
Then I think we'll have arrived at the point that I was.
I mean, they're currently sold out of steam tanks.
Well, I mean, obviously, come on, right?
But if someone can tell me how many I get in a list, I can do the price because it's nice and easy.
Well, the steam tanks are 200, James. So you actually will only
10.
get 10. Well, no, because you're going to need a steam tank commander. I don't know how much he costs. Hold on.
So 9.
So 9.
But you would take the steam tank commander. I think you can get 10 in. It's 10
with the commander.
With the commander. So
but it's
the
the same
9
kit,
in the
right?
commander. So it's 10.
Nice and easy.
Yeah.
It's £400. They are £40 each.
That's a bargain. That's probably the best one.
Why? What about all them Lord Celestants?
That's probably the worst.
I also like the idea where you're just like, here's my army, and someone's like, is that the same model 15 times? And you're like, yeah, do you know what? It's not even a good one.
It's not even a good one. It's like the rich man's equivalent of just like burning money. They're like, this is my commission painted 10 steam tank army, and they were like, wow, is it good? Absolutely not.
Will it beat these however many Charybdises I've got? 20 Charybdises or whatever the fuck it is.
I like the comments in the chat. That kit is tiny too. How is that kit 40 quid?
Yeah,
all of these kits are so... But do you know, like... I mean, I could go on about this because I looked recently.
Yeah.
And I recently almost, in my head, impulsively bought the most expensive model that Games Workshop make, I think.
Oh, which one? Oh, Smaug?
Yeah.
Oh, oofed. I mean, it's not the most.
And in my head, he was still £300.
Okay.
He's not £300 anymore, is he?
He came out at launch at 300, didn't he?
Maybe. Yes, I think so.
Okay, yeah.
So I was there and I was like, just go look. Me and Meg, let's go look. It'll be a laugh. Go have a look.
Yeah.
Maybe think about it because it's cool, right?
Yeah. Was it a
Great
laugh?
model. Well, I can't even remember if oh no, they did have one. I saw the price tag. I turned around and left. He's £418 now.
How we laughed. That was great.
Which is nuts money.
So that's the same as the steam tank army.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ish.
Yeah. So I mean, your quid's in there because you've got 9 more models for the steam tank army. Like I think. Plus, I could probably
easier to paint.
Yeah, I could probably print you a Smaug, James. Just fucking at me. I'll get you. Okay, all right. So just to kind of round off the point I've been like elongatingly trying to make, is Nathan, they reduced all of the points on the Gits. There were loads of other reductions, and we'll talk about those as well, but I kind of wanted to hammer home a singular point first. How did you feel about the points reductions on Gits, which were all either 20 or 10 points in reductions?
Yeah, I mean, at first glance, it looked like it was a reasonable discount. And then, so you write a list, and you might be getting 1 or possibly 2 more units, like small units in. Possibly more if you went with squigs, because they knocked quite a bit off of the squigs. So I don't know if it'll change very many lists a great deal. Well, it will change lists in that there'll be an extra unit or so. I don't know if that'll be enough to bump them up by however much they wanted to bump them up. What, 10% more wins or something like that? Maybe not. Maybe we'll see. I don't feel confident that that's what will happen, but we'll see.
Okay, I think that's really, really fair. I think the point I wanted to try and express about this and see how you two felt about it, and also the Twitch chat, because I kind of made this in a YouTube video on my own, and I didn't really get any input, is the bit I was trying to get at is when they make rules like the points changes feel very nominal, especially 20-point points changes. I know Karazai and Krondys came down 50 points, and so did Praetors, and we'll talk about that in a minute, because that's actually a bit of a winner. But when you change the points on stuff, I don't think you have as big an effect as, like, well, especially when you change the points so nominally, you don't really have a very big effect. Versus if you change the utility of stuff, it's kind of what we've been talking about, right? We talked about the the Cruel Boys and how they can cast spells now. That's really awesome. And then we talked about how fun it would be to do Battleline units, and obviously we got the Arachnarok, even though it's obviously pure dog shit. So like the point changes like feel underwhelming. That's my opinion. Because I think that they simply are underwhelming. And I think it's the rules changes which would make them far more effective. And it's the thing I'd love to see more of. I don't know. Nathan, what are your thoughts on that, like with Gits?
Yeah, I think I was hoping that there would be just little rules changes, maybe relaxing some of the keyword stuff, or maybe slipping a priest in somewhere, something like that. But, yeah. After the excitement of seeing that stuff was cheaper, I did feel like I think armies will be slightly bigger, and there's definitely some interesting lists with loads of squigs, squig herd, because they went down 20 points as well. But yeah, I don't think it'll be. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a massive change if you're playing with the Gits.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Like results-wise, anyway.
What about you, James?
I don't like. I noticed that like the Stormcast points. That was all I really looked at.
That's because it's the one you're interested in, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I've got that. I've got Skaven. I've got some bits and pieces, and I had a little flick over the Skaven. But realistically, if I was dipping my toes back in before the end of this season, I'm only playing Stormcast because I know that book. And some of them were nice, but even then, I thought some of them probably aren't helping. Like Vanquisher's got a reduction, couldn't care less. Not playing them. Vigilator's got a reduction, couldn't care less, still not going to play them. I think the only ones that I thought were quite exciting for me were Andrasta, who dropped 40, and Annihilators, who dropped 20.
They did. I think it dropped 20, which seems dumb.
But the Stormcast book's so expensive that realistically, when I had a quick kerfuffle at lists, because I knew we were talking about this later, earlier, realistically, it maybe adds an endless spell in, maybe, at a push, to any list that I'd written before.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think there's some interesting points in the chat. Adrian says, I guess they're trying not to change all the rules and invalidating the printed books. A more casual guy not interested in keeping up with silly rules changes. Obviously, that's on that. I mean, I think if you're casual enough that you don't even keep up with the rules changes, you're probably just reading straight out of the book and don't really know what any of the rules are. So it's fine. Just crack on with your life. Like, it doesn't really affect you, in my opinion. Azrael says, but they changed almost 100 different little rules across all the armies. But unfortunately, those are just mainly rules clarifications. The rules that they actually changed, the ones we're talking about, where they weren't just clarification or something, are the ones we've pretty much mentioned. There's been some other little bits, but effectively there's them for changing like some of the balance elements. And most of those clarifications were things just provided by the community. Effectively, there were just groups that were feeding them this information, and there was already an FAQ produced from Worlds that they could just copy and lift stuff straight from if they so wished. So I don't think it was actually as much work as we're talking about. But the point is, or my point, I think, is with your stuff, James, actually, you've built a Stormcast Eternals list that was already seeing play, specifically Praetors and Krondys. You're seeing that increased in its viability as a list. But as for the whole internal game, I think the points don't really do very much, and I think I would like to see rules changes more. I think I'm at the stage now where I think, and like Pershaw said in the chat, I think 10 or 20% point changes are like pretty nominal. And I know someone in the chat said, I lost 200 points on my list, or my list has gone up 200 points, so it's 2020. I still don't think that makes differences, because we've seen tournaments where people gave Gitz armies more points and it didn't make them any better, in my opinion. And then lastly, the kind of last point that I wanted to express was I hate the race to the bottom. And Nathan, as a Gitz player, this kind of has to be where you're at, and James, as a Charybdis player for you, this is where you're at as well. Like, I'm sure you don't really want to the quality of your Gitz army to just be that there's a quantity. Like, if anyone remembers Age of Sigmar 1, we had the shooting Bone Splitter list, like the Cunning Ruck, which was horrific. It would do like 800 shots. People were like, there's the quality. Its quality is the quantity. But you don't want your Squig Herd to just be like, I can put 200 wounds of Squig Herd on the board. You want it to be like, I'd like them to actually do something. Otherwise, they're just a token with a wound counter on them, right? That's all they really are. Like, that's how I feel about it. And Nathan, I haven't asked you yet, how do you feel about it? Like, what do you think? Like, because the Arachnarok thing at least makes me, with the War Party thing, I'm like, I'm going to go look at the Arachnarok War Scroll. Oh, it's terrible. Okay, sad, right? Because the rules change, like, immediately I saw the change for the Shaman. I was like, oh my god, what are the spells that they can cast? Because that's an exciting thing. Just being like, you can have more of rubbish, not to call Squigs rubbish, obviously. Feels not good. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think there are some fairly competitive lists with the big Squig herds that have done fairly well, I think, in like the States and stuff. Particularly if they're backed up with like a Conspine or Kragnos or something like that. But so obviously you're getting more of them now. And the rules that they did with the first battle scroll thing, where they changed how the moon was always around the shrine and what the actual effects that the moon did, those have been much more effective in making the Gloomspite a bit more competitive than I think that these points changes will do.
Yeah, I agree with that. James, you've been playing a couple of other game systems. Like, I know you're playing Marvel quite a bit. You've been playing some other stuff. Like, how do you feel about like the points changes versus kind of rules changes conversation? And it's not meant to be like a fight, like pick a side. It's more of the thing that I think I'm learning is that the rules changes are more exciting. Rules changes open up more possibilities and avenues, which I think is fun. Yeah, and I think the points changes feel like that they should be the very finesse. They should be the very final little touch. Because even just changing a unit's ability to hit from a 4 to a 3 would wildly change how well a unit performs, right? But that's my opinion. I'd like to know what you think.
I always think, like, Age of Sigmar is interesting, right? Like, we talked hours ago, I mentioned, like, oh, if you now take 9 sets of Spider Riders, you get the 10th free. But, like, realistically, when is it that you want 10 squads of 5 Spider Riders? And if you wanted them desperately, would you not have just fitted them in before? Like, I think my issue always with points drops is, throughout all the years that I've played, like, very often, the points I save from something isn't enough to make a substantial difference to what I write as a list. And I know occasionally people will be like, oh, I lost 1 salamander, but like, it's not going to fundamentally change your entire army, I don't think. And I think, quite interestingly, just because you talked about it, like, MCP is quite an interesting one, where like their original core box, they just decided a bunch of the champions weren't powerful enough, and so their thing was that they just rewrote the cards and gave them to people to print out themselves. But like, they didn't be at no point. I think one character dropped to power level, which is basically a point, but they only go from 1 to 7 rather than obviously way bigger. But I just think like, and I've seen you put it in chat, but like a Vermin Warp Seer going down 10 points, it's like, why? Don't bother. It doesn't matter. 10 points doesn't matter, I don't think, ever, for me. And I also think, and just because I hadn't thought about it till you were talking about it, like, there's a couple of things in here that are key for me. So I'm going to do one, and then I'll do my final thought. So the Kronspire Incarnate, I can see, like the last event I played, I had one in a list because I dragged on it. People told me about it, so I thought, well, we'll give it a go. It was supposed to be a laugh. I wasn't supposed to do well because it was all sports votes. But it's still worth 480 points. Like, they're saying they were 80 points off, but it's still better than most monsters. Like, I can have Karazai the Scarred for 550, or I can have a Kronspire for 480. The Kronspire is just better.
It is better.
Like, it doesn't change that.
The Kronspire Incarnate is actually better than 8 Arachnarok with war parties.
There you go.
On
a whole list.
Yeah.
But I also think, and maybe this is a weird take because I've been playing less, like, there's that interesting debate, right, where if they change the points loads, so if I've got a big collection or I've got a small collection, I don't play that much, I've got rid of loads, and I'm like, I've got enough models to play, I think it would be really interesting to then come back to the game and to have like gained more points. That means you have to then go and buy more models if you're only a casual player. Like the points shift all that around, whereas actually them being like, them squigs that you had, they're the same points, but they hit on a 4 instead of a 5 now, is way better. And it isn't that hard. Like Nathan said earlier, if you've got the battle cards, you could just draw on them. Put a little post-it on. You could, right?
You could just leave them in blank. I agree, right? Thank you, by the way, to Gobatis for resubscribing. Yeah, I agree. I actually think 480 points for the Kronspine makes it still absolutely nuts, especially because it ties in with so many other units with its utility. I'm sure they're going to be another update, so you can't kill your own units to make a Kronspine wild, but that's still a tech that exists for several armies, as well as its ability to do a bunch of other stuff which other armies can't do, which is why it's going to continue to feature heavily in loads of different lists continuously. So they didn't point it enough that it doesn't see play, and they still didn't point it enough that it's still not better than loads of other units in the game. So James, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that's kind of like where I sat with the changes, because I wanted to be like really like upfront like with the changes when I read them. I think there'll be some changes to the game. Because they hit some of the major threats, like Pusco Blight Lords went up quite a few points, but you can still fit like 8 in, and you probably will still play 8 in 2 units of 4 or something, right? Because they can still pre-game move. So it's that utility that didn't change. Like Beasts of Chaos still have like you still like if your unit of 30 Zangor, which is 60 wounds, can rally on a 4-up, but that unit cost 480 points or 560 points, like. It doesn't matter, like, because you can rally them all when there's one dude left, like, is kind of the point, like, which is, I mean, you can't rally them all, you can rally half, but you can rally significant amounts, right? And sure, rally is one of those, like, outstanding things that's a bit weird, but I just kind of, like, looked at it and I was like, I'm just not really sure it changes anything at all in the game in any way, shape, or form, and I would just think... and the reason, sorry, I didn't talk about this. The reason I asked was because when I was at Castle, I like did a little interview series with all the guys, and I asked all of them. I was like, "Do you want balance?" And we had a bunch of like pretty famous people there. You had like Gavin from Texas. You had Jeremy Vizier. You had the Trentinellis. You know, you had Marcella. Like there was a bunch. You know, Joe Jacob, and I interviewed a load of people. And they're all wonderful. And I said to them, I was like, "Do you want balance?" Like in the game, and the thing that they said was they were like, no, I want it to be quite swingy, and I was like, what the fuck? Like I was actually really interested in that. I was like, why? Like what do you want? And they're like, we just want crazy shit to happen. It's a game of minis. I want there to be 10 steam tanks and them to maybe be okay. Like imagine if those 8 Arachnaroks were what you could take, but they also might go 2-3. Like they're not going to go anything but 0-5 in their current state as an army, but they might go 2-3, like, if you change something around. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that's kind of okay. I would like to see more rules changes, because I've been thinking about it ever since they said it, and I'm like, yeah, I want it to be a bit more wild and a bit more fun, and I think rule change is going to be the only way to do that. So, yeah, the Battlescroll update feels like a weird one for me. and in kind of my review of the process. I don't know what you two think in the process. Nathan, did you have any kind of like takeaway thoughts about the battle scroll?
I think it's interesting. They're obviously they're acknowledging that some armies are poorer. I think like with some of them, I think they're not bad. Like the Cruel Boys thing, I'll be interested to see how they perform because they have had the points drop as well as the little buff, and some of the Cruel Boys magic is interesting. So, and we've not really seen it in play, so it'd be interesting to see if that changes. And I think in combination with some of the other stuff that they did before, the Gitz army could be getting better. It takes a bit more play, I think, but yeah. But I definitely agree with the point about the rules changes are just more exciting than the points changes, and it's a game that we play, so we want it to be. We like exciting things, don't we?
We do love exciting things. That's the bit that we're looking for. James, what about you? Like, because I know you're like sat on the fence. You're kind of like, I'd like to be in the game, not in the game at the moment, like you said. What would bring you back? What would come you stomping back, other than Battleline, Castellan Warriors, or whatever the hell it was?
Lord Celestin.
Yeah, what would get you like excited? Like, I know you talked about Skaven. I really don't think I could get you back super excited for the game. If a Vermin Lord warps it, I'm like, hey James, Vermin Lord warps it down 10 points. You'll be like, fuck off, Rob, stop messaging me, which I do every day with the Vermin Lord warps it being 10 points cheaper. Like, what, like, you know what I mean? What do you want to see? What do you want to see for Skaven? Yeah? Like, what do you want to see?
Do you know what? I'd like to have seen, I think, a new book.
Yeah.
Like,
stop giving Games Workshop money. No. Say some nonsense. Like, just, they should support the game.
I would like 6 free Vermin Lords a game. Do you know what? I'd like the stupid bell back.
Oh yeah? What did you like about the bell? The screaming bell?
Because it was, the old one where it was like you roll a 12 Vermin Lord, poof. And like the new one's kind of okay, and I used it that once, but it wasn't as fun. Like my favorite thing about my Skaven army was I was like, I'm gonna just roll dice, and sometimes it goes really well, and sometimes nothing happens.
Yeah.
But like it was so like, and then I guess I've got a Stormcast army which has been my mainstay, which was kind of like this army basically all hits on a 3, wounds on a 3, doesn't have that much rent, and all saves on a 3. Like it was nice and consistent. Like I could go to an event, I could play it, and I know like in my head roughly how it would perform into most things, and then I could take a Skaven army and be like, I'm just gonna roll some dice and we'll see what happens. I think that I'd like more of that. Just go big. Like just make the whole like. Turn up at the table, roll a dice. If it's 1, 2, 3, they start with 10 points. If it's 4, 5, 6, you start with 10 points. Let's go.
Like, just have some fun. All right,
just
Nathan,
pure carnage.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Nathan, how do you feel?
Yeah, carnage is fun. A little bit more excitement, thank you, please.
A little bit more excitement. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's maybe the key takeaway. The key takeaway is a little bit more exciting. Like that would be fun. And I'm afraid it failed the vibe check. I think that's what the Zoomers would say. I don't know if there's any Zoomers in the chat, but the Battle Scroll failed the vibe check is currently where it's at, and that's disappointing because I think the community would really rally behind some big vibe checks, in my personal opinion. So. I think that'll be really good. Yeah, no cap on a stack for real. Thank you, Eddie, in the chat, whatever the fuck that means. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of the battle scroll. There is I did a video where I talked through all the details in a little bit more, but I just wanted to talk with my friends about it because I do want some crazy shit to happen. I want some crazy things to pop off, and currently not crazy. Like Slaves to Darkness book looked like you stand on objectives a lot with some Nurgle warriors. Sounds not thrilling. I want some more Skaven-y goodness. Give me some nonsense. So hopefully with the Gitz book, we'll see. Right, we'll see. Anyway, right, Nathan, you playing any Warhammer this week?
No, I'm still struggling with van problems, so I probably won't get around to that. Hopefully next week, we'll see.
Okay, all right. James, what about you?
Oh yeah, because I've got a tournament coming up. I better fucking learn
You've
some
got a
rules.
tournament.
Yeah, I've got that War in the Heartlands coming up. I think
Oh,
that's.
you're going to War in the Heartlands. What
It's
army are you
not this
taking?
weekend.
No, not this weekend. It's the weekend after.
That's
What?
it.
Yeah, what army are you taking?
I will take the Gloomspike Gets. Oh, I better check when the submission date is.
You're supposed to have put your Grand Alliance in already, I believe.
Yes, I've done that.
Okay.
Gloomspike Gets.
Yeah,
I've-
that's not a Grand Alliance, but okay. James, are you playing at that one?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's in my 6-month ban.
It's in your 6-month ban. Interesting.
Yeah, I was banned.
Okay.
Banned for
And
cheating.
it's in the retirement phase. If are you going to be doing the objective zone thing?
I think
that?
I think I might be, but I may also be in Sweden. I can't remember. Because I don't know if you noticed, but I found out today I haven't slept for my entire life. So I'm gonna be. A lot of people are gonna be like people are gonna nowadays. You know, in the future, people are like, "Oh, Rob, you didn't get back to me." I'm like, "I haven't slept for my whole life. Yeah, can you leave off me a little bit? This would be nice." I will be. Dun dun. War in the Heartlands. No, I am going to be doing Objective Zone. Mark is going to be doing some GT this weekend and will be streaming, says someone in the chat. So Azrael. Is that Spencer? That'll be cool. So Objective Zone will be streaming, yes, War in the Heartlands. We're streaming War in the Heartlands, but we're only streaming this Sunday. And we might be streaming this weekend. There's Runax in Australia. I keep trying to get Gabe to stream it to me. But he's like, fuck off, Rob. No. I'm like, come on, Gabe. And then there's Ragnarok GT, which I'm also trying to get some streaming from as well. But then we're definitely doing War in the Heartlands, and then we might be streaming. We're streaming a couple of the US events as well, so that's gonna be really fun. So looking forward to that. Did you happen to catch any yesterday?
Oh no, I'm afraid not. I missed it.
There was a great game. A Teclis got killed alive to dead in one turn by an Achillean King on the second turn on an 11-inch charge. It was amazing.
Good. We always like it when that fella takes a walk.
And then the Lumineth army still won.
Oh wow! Skills.
Yeah. Skills is a strong word. But shout out to Dennis because he was the skills. Okay, all right, good. Yeah, so we'll be doing some streaming, and then I'm just waiting for the Safe Darkness book. 4 Mutalith Vortex Beasts. Buy or bust. That's what it is on Saturday. Will I buy 4 or will I not? That's all I need to know. Yeah, because then I'm going to take them to a tournament in America. So I'm going to Everwinter GT. Right, it's going to be good.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I'm not sure which one it is. But anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you have listened to the show on Twitch, thanks very much for doing so and being a part of the conversation. If you are if you listen to a podcast, please stay hydrated. And of course, thank you to everyone who watches back on YouTube. Loads of love to all of you, and thanks very much. Goodbye.